The river came alive with the sound of music calling for help. Watch firefighters rescue a moose that fell through ice. They used axes to break up more of the ice to free her. The whole operation took about an hour, and the moose eventually was able to swim back to shore.
Shambhala promotes, like, there's a group called Anchors, spelled with a K, and they offer completely judgment free. Like, if you want to walk in and just like throw your whatever you've got on the table, we'll put it through our reagent tests.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the Grimerica Show. We're going to be chatting with Tanner and Kali a little bit later about festivals and harm reduction and music and all sorts of fun stuff. Burning Man. And we got friend of the show, James Nation, here joining us for the intro as much as he can after a couple of dabs. And but first, as always, co-hostess with the mostest. Graham, does my hair look longer today, Dunlop? How's it going, buddy?
Good. Yeah, this is a fun episode. I'm looking forward to doing this intro because I've been saving up some cool trip reports from listeners who write into the show, and I wanted to save it for this episode with Tanner and Kali because it was great to talk about all the festivals and kind of get all excited about that.
That's right. It was kind of a synchro too because my wife knew Tanner from back in the metal days.
Yeah, that's weird. Eh?
She thought he was James at first.
Yeah, that's right. I had to say he's not James.
But then she knew him anyway.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Small world.
Yeah, so how you doing?
Good. I'm wearing my robe.
Yeah.
My feet are sweating because we've been in the studio for long and I'm wearing my big boots because it's minus fucking a billion outside.
You look like the Big Lebowski today, buddy.
I like it.
Dude.
How you doing, James?
I can work with Lebowski.
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah.
Good.
I'm getting a little scared of coming for visits here, though, because Darren's got these pretty serious rigs out here now.
Oh.
How do you not get contact high from all that smoke and Igloo?
He does. He's all fucked up right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't come over here. No.
Graham has a little bubble. That's an aura bubble.
Yeah, just a bubble. I just
force
put
field.
my protection aura around
His
it.
blue blocker glasses on, and he's good to go.
That was his last weakness.
You got to move this zip tie out of the way, though. It's poking me in the eye right now.
Well, be less weak.
They got a new microphone in the Igloo, guys.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I didn't have another stand, so I just hung the pop filter from the ceiling and ties.
Working pretty good, except for the zip tie and the eye part.
Well,
Okay, I'm not complaining.
You'll figure it out. You're a big boy.
Yeah.
So how you been, buddy?
Good, yeah.
How was Christmas?
Good.
Is this the first time we recorded?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
What'd you do for Christmas, Graham? We're allowed to say Christmas on the Grimerica Show, aren't we?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good.
Not much. Just went to relatives for dinner. And,
Had the cat over here at the Igloo for a couple days.
yeah, well, I went away
That's
on a
it.
little trip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zeus was okay.
I heard he's
He has
pretty
no
cool.
claws, eh? Does he have claws?
Yeah, he's got claws.
Oh,
yeah.
he keeps them put away all the
Scratches
time.
out at me when
He didn't scratch me at
he
all.
jumps on. James is going to look after him for me. So he
Yeah.
jumps on your back a lot. So just watch he'll jump up.
No, when he did that once, I fucking slammed him so hard. He
you can't do that.
See,
I'm
Darren
just
fights
kidding.
one cat, and now he thinks he can take on a mountain lion.
No, I'm just kidding. I like Zeus.
9 more to go.
No, I've changed my stance on fighting mountain lions.
You have to check that out on Friends to Know.
I'm out of the mountain lion fighting game.
Yeah.
But I will still fight as many feral cats as you can round up.
You guys were all chatting on Friends to Know about this.
Actually,
Well,
let's
Darren
just
said that
stray
he could.
cats.
Darren said that he could fight a mountain lion until we played a YouTube video on it, and maybe you should put this same video in the show notes for the listeners to watch because it's pretty amazing and how strong these cats are. Like he's
I've seen
wrestling
it kill an elk.
a grizzly
Well, yeah, but
bear.
of course they kill Alex. I don't understand what.
No, he chased a grizzly bear away that was way bigger than him, grabbed a crocodile by the back of the neck and just ran off with it. Like, they're serious cats.
Mountain lion.
Mountain lion did, yeah. He swam up to the crocodile, bit him on the back of the neck, and just walked off into the jungle with him. Like it was no big deal. Just like pranced away.
Are you? But who's tougher? Like a mountain
Darren
lion?
thought he
What
could
about
fight
just
one.
a regular lion or a tiger. Like, aren't they tougher? Like, what's
Probably,
tougher
but
out of the great cats?
I never said I was going to fight a lion.
A cougar's.
A cougar and a mountain lion are the same thing.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they pretty much are, yeah.
Yeah, they are. We went through all this.
Yeah.
Trust me.
You got to listen to, yeah, put it in the show notes. You'll see.
We went through all this on Friends to Know.
Did you talk about the toughest of the great cats?
We went through
Zeus.
cougars and mountain lions for like
Right.
extensively.
Because great cats are pretty amazing. And have you seen the Lion Whisperer, that guy?
No,
You haven't seen that?
no.
You better see it quick because he's going to get fucking.
He's going to get eaten. Yeah, the cat's pretty serious.
He just plays with them and kisses them and they crawl all over him and like it's unbelievable. It's like playing with a house cat.
That's
Well, they're
like
probably
that.
tame lions.
Remember there was that polar bear in northern Manitoba and they're like, oh yeah, him and this dog are friends because Buddy was feeding him every day. The first day he forgot to put out the food, the polar bear fucking ate the dog.
Really?
Yeah.
Or
Ate the
what
dog?
about,
Yeah.
what about Siegfried and Roy there with his
Yeah.
pet lions
I know,
or
it's
whatever he
sad,
had?
eh?
Yeah.
You just don't know when they're going to snap.
Sometimes,
This-
kind of like you snapping on your iTunes thing today. You never know.
Because it's a corporate conspiracy. It drives me nuts.
Oh, if you listeners could see how mad Graham gets at his laptop.
yeah, no serenity there.
Yeah.
All
He's-
that enlightenment goes out the window when your fucking
Oh,
iTunes stops.
It kinda
You
scared
know
me.
what? I've got a thing about these technical glitches and the problems that we have.
He becomes
Like the
abusive.
contact thing. My contacts don't work properly in my iPhone anymore.
still?
No, they're still fucked. You know, yeah. I go it depends.
Maybe
on
it's
which
that
way I do
aura.
it.
Maybe you have that aura though. It's too much
And
interference.
you know what the gist of it is that we pay these corporations fucking get us every way they can. They trick us into money. They get us, and we pay good money for the stuff. And when you're paying for $200 a month for your cable and internet, and it's fucking up at home, like it's annoying.
That is, yeah. I get annoyed if my internet gets messed up.
And or like cable doesn't work properly, or like, you know, it's like, oh my god, you guys.
But your iPhone is just,
And that's sort of similar.
that's
to me,
not,
like,
it's not as hard to
Mac doesn't have. You can't just call Apple and bitch to them. They don't have access. You gotta
That's
make an
because people
appointment,
like
go
you
to
would
the
be
store.
calling them constantly.
Oh yeah, they know. Oh, it's Graham from the Grimerica show, that Fringe podcast. Don't answer. He's probably recording this.
Yeah.
Recording this, yeah. I could see it.
The
You could
anti-Apple
do a show on
podcast.
fucking troll and scammers.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
Wait for the people to call you to, you know, you get those scam telemarketers sometimes.
yeah. Like your computer's broken. We need to log in remotely and fix your computer. Listeners,
Just
don't
gotta be
ever,
ready.
don't ever fall for that trick. I'm calling from Microsoft. I need to remote in and fix your computer. That's a scam phone call.
Yeah.
Just for you listeners that don't
busting,
know.
like, why aren't they
They're not
busting
from-
those people?
Yeah.
Like, all the scam emails you get and the people trying to.
They're not from Microsoft. They're from somewhere in like Africa, and they're
Russia?
just going to install viruses on
I
your
think
computer.
they're from
Yeah.
Russia. Right?
Well, it
Russia?
could be anywhere. Everybody likes to blame Russia. They're just
I'm
the
just kidding. I'm
scapegoat
just
for
kidding.
every hack now. But
Yeah.
a lot of it actually is from Asia. Most of the highest percentage of hacking virus stuff is. A lot of it actually is coming out of Mexico. Apparently,
Oh, Asia
just
and
recently.
Mexico.
And
Asia's
Asia.
racist.
Yeah. No, that's not race. I'm
That's it.
internet.
Bingo, bango.
Viruses isn't a race.
Time to unveil the new Django.
Bingo, social media jingle. Don't forget to rate, comment, and or subscribe to the Grimerica newsletter. Bingo, bingo.
Is there a new
So does that
jingle?
mean I'm supposed to say something about the social media?
Oops.
Did you see
Bingo,
that?
bango.
Did you see that
I accidentally
YouTube
hit
comment?
that other one every time.
You want me to read that YouTube comment out?
What
Speaking of
YouTube
social
comment?
media. What an awesome show. I made a resolution this year to infect as many people to start expanding their auras and my own. I fucking love you guys. I don't know what I would do without hearing your voice again and again. I hope you never die. Also, I think that you should place the jingles on double speed for laughs and to please Graham.
Sounds like a stalker, Graham.
Yeah.
Or watch out.
No, she's
I'm just kidding.
She says, happy 2017, abundance, health, and all precious for you guys. FYI, because you're sick so often, I cannot help but recommend a handy immunity regimen of Chyan Wapresh. which you can find at any Indian store. It contains 45 Ayurvedic herbs and a berry with the highest concentration of vitamin C. You have a teaspoon every day and never get sick again. No joke. Big, warm vibes from Newcastle, Australia.
You like smoke a teaspoon
So that's
a
from
day?
Victoria. Thank you.
You smoke a teaspoon?
No, I don't. You don't smoke everything, Darren. I think you probably just blend it into some water and drink it.
So when she says Indians,
be
is
my
that
guess.
You don't
Aboriginals?
blend
Because she's
everything
from
in water and
Australia.
drink
No,
it,
that'd
Graham.
be Ayurvedic, right? That means India.
Like India.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Right on. By the way, that new jingle was from our buddy Felix.
Thanks, Felix.
It is
I
Felix,
like that one.
eh?
It's very. Darren's got a check.
You got the postcard.
Yeah.
There was a nickname,
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
Berto. Yeah.
Berto, yeah. We used some of his music. That's right. I had to say that we used his music for the outro music for the last episode.
Oh, right.
So check it out.
That's a really cool postcard.
I should actually give out the website. There's no point unless I give out the website. What the fuck? Accidentally hit the...
Darren's got his new jingle machine working, everybody.
Let's see.
Lots of buttons on there.
And I'll put a link to this in the show notes as well. This is Felix music from last episode.
It is sirfelix.bandcamp.com. Check that shit out. And big thanks to you. There's another jingle too. I'll play it later.
Okay, so I got some trip reports. You want to get into that then?
Sure.
Grimerica Trip Report.
So this is from Tyler. He says, hey guys, long-time listener here. I've thought about sending a trip report that changed my life for a while now. So here it goes. It was my first time trying LSD. I took two of my really close friends up to the mountains for a camping trip in which we were planning on taking LSD for the first time. One of my friends was just there to hang out and be the sitter, since it was my other friend and I's first time. I'm not someone who just tries things to try it. I had recently become fascinated by psychedelics and what they could potentially offer, so I did all my research. We got up to our camping spot at about 10 a.m., set up camp, and then dropped. We each took one tab. Then an hour later, took one more. The amazing feelings of joy, bliss, and love started to settle in. About halfway through our trip, we were sitting around the campfire and enjoying the sounds of nature and just snacking on some food we bought. As I was drinking my Dr. Pepper, I couldn't help but think, why am I drinking this? This is literally poison and is in no way good for my health. So I immediately put it down and drank water for the rest of our camping trip. This incident impacted me so much that my health became the most important thing to focus on. Soon after the trip, I left my previous job to work at a health food store in which my knowledge of how nutrition impacting the body blossomed and grew. I had started to change the way my parents felt about how they ate too, as well as the rest of the family. And today, when you go to my parents' house, all food is labeled organic or non-GMO or grass-fed or cage-free. When I was growing up, I was taught that drugs are bad, especially in school. At some point after school, I started to be amazed by what the plant kingdom could do for humans and the relationship between us for thousands of years. I did all my research, tried something I was told never to do, and it significantly put my life on a new path, one of positivity and a thirst for knowledge. You guys rock. Keep it up. Tyler from Denver.
Hey, thanks, Tyler from Denver.
That was cool.
Maybe when we do the Denver tour, we can meet up.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, we're going to go.
It's interesting though, how
Meet up
How,
and eat some acid.
like why when he has this thought in his head that why am I drinking this? This is poison. And it's just a Dr. Pepper. Like, what if he had that thought sober? Like, why did it have such an impact when he was?
He was right. It is poison.
I know that's the thing, right? But
It's bad
why
for
would
you.
it have such an impact when you're in that state? Like something fucking got in there.
Just the way she goes, man.
Yeah.
His subconscious is telling him to stop drinking pop
Yeah.
or soda for you
The
Americans.
subconscious could say subconscious. The subconscious can finally come through.
Subconscious.
The subconscious in the back there trying to get out.
Drink your soda. How come the Americans call it soda and we call it pop?
Because we're fucking losers.
Posers.
No, I don't know. The soda pop. It's soda pop. They just went with the first word. We went with the second.
We had to share.
That's right.
That is
We
kind of
split
funny.
it up.
Right, mate. The Aussies had the treaty. They're like, right, you're allowed to say pop, you say soda. I don't even know if that
What
was probably,
accent was
I don't
that?
know what that's probably more English.
I don't think that was anything.
This is why I'm not a voice actor.
That's right. None of us are. What, you got anything else, buddy?
Yeah, I got another one from Vance here. This is a good one too.
Can you do a UFO quote too, Graham?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Did I fix the UFO quote jingle on here yet? I don't think I did. Did I?
Profound UFO quote of the week.
Like the other jingle too.
You're not expecting me to do that, are you?
No.
Well, you said yes. Yeah, tease us with that, buddy.
Well, for once, I'm actually not ready.
For the first time in the history of the show.
Yeah.
I want to play the other jingle, so I'll buy you a couple of minutes.
Play the guitar one is good.
Oh, the guitar one? I was looking for the one with the X-Files.
So you're just interrupting my trip report with a UFO quote right now? You guys are
Oh,
so
shit. No,
disrespectful.
yeah.
Okay, do your trip report first.
I forgot we were doing that.
Darren is just trigger happy on the jingle buttons. Yeah.
You forgot something that happened 10 seconds ago. 5 seconds ago.
Just good old dabs.
So he says, the last I wrote, I was frustrated with the universe and was supposed to attend an ayahuasca ceremony. I think we talked about that on the show, actually. The ceremony didn't happen. As crazy it was one of our crew members at work walked off the job with no notice. That was on a Friday. That same Sunday, I met the apprentice shaman. We had a few phone calls and really connected. He invited me to his house. When I drove up to his place, it had this strange sense of being home, as if I knew this spot before, like visiting family. I walked into his house and was offered some shrooms. Have never taken shrooms before and said, sure. He said we were going to spend a day at the bike club at Long Island, meet some good folks and eat some great food. I ate 3 shrooms and nothing had happened by the time we arrived, so I ate another. Within a half hour, I felt 23 years of anxiety, depression, and suicidal ideation wash away. 23 years of the shit, brother. It was gone. I sat smoking cigarettes, observing the events, the changing sky, and fell in love with how my brain structures thoughts and observations. We held a ceremony the following Friday. I attended and was blown away by the events. Maybe I'll write about that another time. After the event, I was given enough mushrooms to last 2 weeks. I took a microdose every other day. Each day, more genuine self-appreciation came into my consciousness. I've always heard about self-love, which is just a fucking awkward term. Never understood how to experience it. The shrooms made it happen so effortlessly and integrated a loving self-appreciation into my mental perspective. Not sure if it conveys in the tone of this email, but I'm writing from a completely different mind. Before I quit microdosing, I shared the rest of the mushrooms with 2 of my coworkers on our day off. As I was chewing the largest dose... As I was chewing the largest dose I'd taken, the thought came to mind as if the shrooms were speaking to me. What do you want from us? What do you want to learn? At one point during the ayahuasca ceremony, I had slipped into another dimension. There was a note, snug, that was both vocal and mechanical. I asked the shrooms to take me back to that place. The guys and I went to a movie. About 40 minutes in, I looked up at the theater walls. They shifted into this other dimensional place. The geometries returned, the deep, dark, incandescent purple, green, and blue edges of inner space architecture appeared. The gorgeous, hauntingly melodic tone was sung from every direction, coming from everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. Then I was back at the movies, enjoying the waves of the effect through the evening. I haven't continued microdosing. For the most part, the anxiety and criticism haven't returned. The shaman did say he felt like we were old brothers connected from some other time, and the feeling is mutual. He offered me to come to study at his place in Peru without any costs. He's the only person I've met in this practice that opens his house to anyone for a donation of household items or labor. The shaman's daughter from Colombia did message me again, saying they wanted to do a fundraiser to get me back there. For now, I'm going to continue to try and figure out work and positioning myself to be a better parent. Much love to you and your team. Thanks for being a guidepost on my path back home. Always listening, Vance.
Thanks, Vance. That's a good one.
Yeah. Then a healing story of the psychedelic variety.
Yeah, they're usually good for that.
Every time you say shaman, I think of salmon.
He's a shaman.
Is it shaman or shaman? I don't think it's shaman.
Shaman, yeah. Thanks.
Just shaman swimming up the stream.
These guys are just...
You can't just come on the show here and start making fun of Graham.
So, I'm sorry.
That's not okay.
It just reminds me of salmon.
I make fun of Graham around here.
Can you tell him that it reminds you of salmon, please?
Next time.
Okay.
I'll save it up for now. He's ready for it.
How about that UFO quote, bro?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Darren and Graham are going deep. It's a profound UFO quote of the week. Words to ponder and critique.
Okay.
It's a profound UFO quote of the week.
There's something I don't really like about this. I can just... Oh, no, what happened?
Yeah, oh, boy.
That's a real good jingle, that one.
Did you see what happened there?
I didn't see what happened.
Just fucking disappeared.
Huh.
Oh, boy. Finger swipe. No, so now I gotta find it. I guess I'm not supposed to say that one. Okay, I'll do this one. Oh, I don't want to do that one.
Oh, boy.
It's not usually like this.
Hopefully this isn't your first episode.
Because I made fun of him. Sorry, Darren.
It's
all flustered now.
Okay, how about from an NSA fireman from Apollo 15?
Fireman?
Sorry, NASA. NASA. What?
NASA. Fireman. Shaman.
What did I say?
You're a fireman?
What did I say?
Fireman.
Fireman. Broke my virginity was good too. I like that one.
Okay. I uttered something that brought us to the attention of Dr. Gilruth and the others. What the crap is that? What caused me to utter that phrase was the object took straight off and went out of sight in less than a second. It may have been longer, but it seemed like it was gone in the blink of an eye. But I was still aware that it had actually gone straight up. One of the men there, I think it was Everett Schaefer, turned and asked what we were doing in the room. And we were told that we were there to inspect the fire alarm panel at the rear of the room and to take our smoke break. And to ask a question of our own, what in the hell was that about? That was Dane Hatton, NASA fireman.
Nah.
Thanks,
Apollo
buddy.
15.
NASA?
He can do it.
NASA fireman.
NASA fireman. That could be a song.
I think I should just do another one of these because the other trip report I had is really long. Like it's a story.
No synchros this week?
No synchros this week.
Do you have any weather reports?
I got some.
No, we're not.
No, we're not going to get into that. But I could do another one of these quickly here.
Well, why don't we go into... Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this one is from 1969 to 1972. The ufological activities of this organization were most varied, including the elaboration of information bulletins, a draft of SIOANI regulations. SOINI. Contacts with interested parties, panels, catalogs of contacts, and others, always attempting to contribute in this field of research that was already well known in Brazil. That's Colonel Yao Glazer. Was a specialized UFO bureau called System of Investigation of Unidentified Aerial Objects.
Ooh, UAP.
Both of those don't make sense, really.
Don't make sense?
Yeah, kind of lame quotes. So, sorry, guys.
You let yourself down with your unpreparedness.
Oh, I read the wrong one. Oh, no, that was the other one, yeah. Oh, weird. They're right up.
Now you want to do a third one? That's not happening.
Spam in your favorite UFO quotes to Graham. Especially if you got secret ones we don't know about yet.
Yeah, I'm running out. I'm running low. No, I still got quite a few.
Or actually, do you ever get UFO stories emailed to you? That would be cool. Yeah?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had one. We had our blog. Didn't I read? Yeah, I read it out from Matt in the Hat.
Oh, yeah?
A blog about it, yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember now.
Yeah. So speaking of that, if anyone feels like blogging.
Oh, yeah, we're always looking for some bloggers. Check out Grimerica.ca. Actually, wait, no, that's the wrong spiel.
What?
Not if you play the jingle.
Spam Gram.
Yeah, send me your stories. GRA.
If you want to blog. Actually, no, if you want to blog, just email me.
HAM@Grimerica.com.
If you want to blog, just email me. Darren@Grimerica.com. I can get you set up there. Of course, if you don't want to blog and you want to support the show, you can help out our value for value model. If you feel to receive some value, you can check out Grimerica.ca/support. There's a bunch of different options there. You can get on a monthly, anywhere from like $1 a month to $30 a month for like 8 hours a month or 10 hours a month of solid entertainment. That's a pretty good deal. Anyway, check out that. If you can't do that, you can always do the one-time donation. And if you can't help out financially, you can review the show wherever you can, share the show wherever you can, tell your friends about this motherfucker.
Yeah, I hate to keep harping on it, but we don't have any ads and we don't want to put any ads up. So, but there are a bunch of expenses. So it does help. The donations help a lot.
And you can always send in your stories, your synchros. That all helps as content helps. That all counts towards the model. And jingles. And Sir Felix sent us 2 this week. So this one's a support jingle, so I'll play it now.
If they make you laugh, if they make you cry, if they blow your mind, why not go online to Grimerica.ca/support.
Right on. Thanks.
That's a good one. You know what I'll probably do with that one is like, tack it onto the very, very end of the audio file now.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. It'll always be the very, very end.
Yeah.
Thanks, Felix. You've been immortalized on the interwebs. What else you got, motherfucker?
That's about it, buddy.
Use 5 more minutes.
Yeah? What do you want to talk about?
Synchronicity.
You want what? You just want to talk about it, or?
I want to rate one.
I'm a rambling
Okay, I got one.
with synchronicity.
I always got a couple in my back
all over
pocket.
the web.
I'll bet you do.
And Darren is skeptical about everyone. And don't.
Right next to your dowsing rods and your slingshot.
This is from Corey. He says, hey guys, love the show. The synchronicities, UFO quotes, etc. Plus the general banter you guys do before the interview adds a great quality to the show. So this wasn't even my synchro, but I figure I'd share it. It involves the NFL in a game while meeting new people in a non-local environment. I play a social strategy game called Clash of Clans in my downtime, and just tonight, my clan merged with another clan, so there's a lot of new people to chat with. Not to mention merging clans is a big decision in the game. So I had a conversation going with a new member where we had lived, and eventually I asked him what NFL team he roots for. He said the Buffalo Bills, and I said the New England Patriots, to which he replied, oh, boo. Considering they are rivals, that this is a common type of response. Then I replied, I do like the Bills, though, the Jets and the Giants not so much. This is where the conversation changed, because he responded, weird, I met another guy, a New England fan today, and he said the exact thing word for word. Exactly. So weird, then followed up with, dude creeped out a little. This may be a coincidence or a non-local synchro. It's interesting how you come into contact with people even over the internet and have connections in odd ways. Even though this wasn't a synchro for me, I instantly recognize it as a possible one for this dude I just met through a strategy game. Makes me wonder, especially considering most people don't even know what a synchronicity is.
Dude's getting a 4.
That's not nice.
5.
Why? What if he donated to the show?
The dude? No, I have no way of knowing what the dude's state of consciousness or what the fuck, anything. I don't know. There's not enough information. He's lucky I'm radiant at all.
Wow.
If it was his personally and he could explain it with a little more.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was just the way I read it. I read it a little fast. So that could have been it.
But it wasn't his personally.
That's okay.
So he's going on He's going on some dude he just met on the internet's word that somebody said that exact phrase.
Yeah, well, of course. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to have, fucking hardcore evidence here.
Yeah,
Third-party synchronicity.
Third-party synchro needs pretty hardcore evidence.
Wow.
Especially for the third-party rating authority.
I don't know who this fucking third-party guy is. He doesn't even listen to the show.
You know what I don't get?
He could be anybody.
You know what I don't get? Why if you would play like a Clash of Clans thing and then talk about like NFL? It seems weird.
What, nerds can't like sports or what? Yeah. Not that Clash of Clans is nerdy, but it kind of is, I guess. Right? You know?
Well, if I was playing...
Not that I'm a nerd. I'm okay with it.
Graham's a jock. He doesn't play well with nerds, all right? He's thinking about being
What? I played D&D as a kid.
If I played your glasses on right now, Graham would punch you.
Graham's getting pretty beefy there too.
Yeah,
you know, he's looking in shape.
The beefcake's running away with him.
The kid's looking good. He's going on vacation. That's why
he's getting all.
Yeah, I had to take his shirt off next week.
Cocky. He's buying shirts a size too small.
Yeah,
buying toques a size too small.
Notice how he flexes whenever you look at his arms, and then looks down to make sure his sleeves rolled up enough.
They don't roll up. That's just the way it fits.
For all the listeners out there, Graham's looking in pretty good shape here for his cruise.
So if I was playing D&D as a kid and I met some, let's say we had this role-playing thing.
Let's pretend you were a nerd.
Is, right? I was a nerd, totally.
Okay.
I still am a bit.
Role-playing.
Would you talk about the NFL? Like, I don't understand playing a social game like that and your clan. You have this clan and you're bumping another clan and you talk about like.
I think you're stereotyping that.
I think you're stereotyping these people in with this Dungeons and Dragons.
So you're saying that the Clash of Clans guys can't like the NFL?
But you're in wouldn't you just be making stuff up like in your character in that whole world? Like, would you bring back? You
can't be in like real life.
You can like football and D&D.
You have to just fully immerse yourself and you're in character.
Some nerds can be jocks. I cast a spell on you.
Yeah,
no, these guys need to get laid too.
Hey, Graham, do you like football?
No.
You like any sports? Well, you play hockey.
I play all kinds of sports. I just don't watch them.
Okay, but so if you're playing Clash Clans with your buddies and you want to talk about your favorite hockey team, you might even do that, right?
I guess.
So there you go.
So that you can.
You're one of them.
Clash of Clans telling people that UFO you saw in Israel.
That's a better story.
It was because it's weird. It was I don't see how you'd be playing online games against other online people and talking about.
Why not?
I guess I don't know.
Talking about life. You're just playing video games with your buddies.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Grandma's racist against video games.
You're racist against UFOs, though, Darren.
That's right.
You
were ranting about it on Show 200 special and Sasquatch. You just don't care. You just don't give a shit about them.
I was drinking.
No, not that time.
You don't do that a lot. Either he rants and raves about that, or he gets really political about Russia. Wasn't he? He was having a man crush on Putin.
And
then he rips the
thought he was going to move to Russia.
Counters record off the wall and breaks the glass.
Yeah, can't give him.
Watch out, motherfucker! Watch out, beefcake.
You could have probably fought the mountain lion that night.
I'll fight the feral cats any day. You boys set it up.
10 feral cats. We'll set it up. We need, what's his name from the UFC to put this together for us? Dana, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Dana White.
Dana White. All right. I think that's about it, eh? We'll jump into it. I think this is a long interview, actually.
Yeah. Big thanks to Tanner and Kali, and hope we get a chance to do it again.
That's right.
Did you give a shout out to whoever gave you this mic?
I don't know
we did. But we talked about the mic.
Anonymous?
No, you told me it was coming. Somebody sent the mic to the Igloo. They had old recording equipment or whatever. Well, it's not old, but I mean,
it's nice.
Not needed.
It didn't come with a note or anything, though.
If it did, I brought it in here and showed you.
You gave it to me at work. You told me to take it out of the front seat of your car.
I don't know.
Well, thanks for the mic.
Yeah, it's hanging up in the Igloo. It looks good.
James is using it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
Yeah, there's some more value for value.
Exactly. That's some good stuff right there.
That's right.
I always need to replace cords and shit. It's always something going on. Actually, I'm surprised that nothing. Actually, you had to reboot your computer a couple times today, but
not updated.
Oh, all right. That's it. So
support the show, everybody.
Yeah. support the show and enjoy the chat with Kali and Tanner.
All right, so here in the Igloo in person tonight, we have Tanner and Kali from the Genesa ThoughtLab podcast, and they've got a couple projects besides that. They've been to all the festivals and stuff, and we want to talk about their shit.
It's warmer with 4 people.
It is warmer. It was super cold when we first got in here.
So yeah, welcome to the show, guys. Thanks for coming.
It's great to be here.
Having us.
Nice to finally see the Igloo.
We should hire an intern for the winter.
An intern for just why? Just to sit in here and warm up?
Hop between you two and give you hugs when the other one gets cold.
Joey used to do that.
I'm hoping it's going to get warmer, but like I've only been in Calgary a few years, and some people tell me it could just stay like this all year. And I'm like, what the fuck? But,
it's all over the place all the time.
Yeah.
I actually feel like winter came at the right time this year, though. Like usually it comes at like a month or month and a half earlier than this, so
yeah, it wasn't too bad. Like I remember like 10 years ago, like it was just fucking minus 20 for 2 months.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's what they're talking about.
And it would dip down from that down to like, I remember it was like fucking minus 50. Kyle's truck was frozen fucking solid for a week and a half. He couldn't go to work. It was just frozen. My car was frozen. You just stay home.
Well, that's what's so funny about the media and the way that they're like representing our winter right now is like, I've seen so many articles being like, this is the coldest winter that Alberta has has had in the last 2 years. Like, wait, 2 years?
Yeah,
that's not that long. Like, you're really accentuating the wrong part of this story.
That's not a good sample size.
It was only fucking 4 years ago I was getting $600 heat and hydro bills.
Yeah.
Because your furnace is just running constantly.
Yeah.
That's how it's been for the last couple weeks. This house isn't as drafty as the old one, though. That's good.
Yeah, this is okay. We'll stay warm in the Igloo.
I did see the power thing, though. We use like the most power ever. That could be the Igloo. That's just because Grimerica's online while it's cold.
Do you guys get flagged by the cops for having an irregular power signal?
They think it's a grow up. They come in here. It's just basically like a Faraday cage full of electrical like EMF and all.
In the way, we might have problems if we podcasted on like a 12-hour on, 12-hour off schedule.
Oh, yeah.
I got every day at fucking 4 o'clock it turns on. No, I think, but honestly, it is about, I've been tracking it this year, watching the electrical bill, and it's about, when the heaters are running in here, I figure it's costing about $25 or $30 a month.
That's not too bad, though.
No, we keep it chilly, though. That's like, we set it maybe 10 degrees.
Well, considering, like, look at all these screens and then the mics and then the lights and everything.
Who knows what it runs? I wonder if I can get it into like an hour by hour and check Tuesday night's power consumption.
So that's $5 subscription. So thanks to all those people donating to the show.
Yeah, because if the volcano is in here, if you like run the volcano at the same time as the heater, everything. Or if you turn on that heater while this heater's on, everything shuts off.
Yeah, no, it's perfect in here right now, though.
It was chilly before.
I mean, there's snow on the roof, but...
Last week was chilly.
Yeah.
Because it was like minus 30 in here, and it was just like all the heaters cranked. It was just not enough to warm up, but just enough to like fend off the cold.
So besides podcasting, you guys do shows as well? Like you guys promote shows and stuff?
Yeah.
Does that slow down during the winter at all? Or
No, well, winter is when we're the most busy because like during the summer is when we're out and we're touring the festivals because we both DJ them. and like perform at them together, and also him being involved with the sanctuary and everything. So we travel over the summer and do all of these festivals, and then when we come back, we'll usually do a show once every like few months just to keep it fresh.
Yeah,
not a few months. We try and do like one every 2 months, because anything other than that, more than that,
I say few, I mean two. I know that's not proper, but
that's a couple.
Yeah, I got that.
Thank you. No, the summer is our off season. That's when we just go out kind of gallivanting from festival to festival. This year was the most intense one that we had, though, because we got married in June, middle of June, and then the very next weekend was our first festival, and then subsequently 9 more after that.
Every weekend.
It was a really heavy festival, and then we got kind of randomly dragged out to Burning Man again this year, which is a pretty hefty commitment. I mean, it's 3 days to drive down. We took 4 days to drive back. It's like a 9-day festival.
Him and I had a week to decide whether or not we were going to, take all of the time and spend all the money to go to Burning Man this year.
It was offered to us as a honeymoon opportunity, though, because we had our wedding and we didn't really get any time to have us time. Yeah. We went into responsibilities, and like as fun as going out to these music festivals is, we brought the podcast this year out to all the festivals. We developed like a deep cycle battery system, and we brought it out to podcast with people at the festivals, out in the middle of the field, untethered to power. It was fun, but it was too much.
Yeah.
Like we overcommitted, and we were pretty much working every festival, and we didn't really get a honeymoon. So a nice friend of ours, Millie, she kind of saw that. She saw how overexerted we were, and she was like, I need someone to drive a trailer full of stuff down to the Nevada desert for Burning Man. I got a ticket, vehicle pass, and some money. Do you want it? Can you just like drive a bunch of my stuff down for me? And yeah, it's hard to make that decision in like a week's notice, but it's kind of an easy decision because Burning Man is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, we got to talk about that a little bit later. Burning Man.
Yeah, I want to go to. It's on my bucket
because we can really. You guys have been a few times, right? Have you?
Yeah, this year was our third.
Okay, that's a few. Yeah.
Shut up.
So. What else was I going to say about that? Oh, I heard you guys talking about that with your podcast because I came back from Astral Harvest, and I was blown away by ski tour.
Ski tour, yes.
And honestly, like I'm totally new to all this, but I like all these different kinds of music. But for some reason, they blew. And then you guys were telling me, like, "Oh yeah, I heard you talking about that. We did a podcast with them." So I went back and listened to it, and in that podcast, you were talking about your honeymoon and your trip to Burning Man. I don't know if you talked about going to Burning Man or you just came back maybe when you talked to ski
I wasn't
tour,
there for ski tour. I was off in Pennsylvania visiting my dad.
Yeah, that was actually our friend Lindsay that was filling in for that episode.
Right. Yes, right.
But Callie was in Pennsylvania, and I think that we recorded that episode in winter last year.
Right.
So it
would have been before.
Yeah, it was kind of in the halfway point.
Yeah.
But honestly, like after you've been to Burning Man, you just can't stop talking about it. It's actually kind of funny because this year there was a YouTube video that somebody made, like it went viral, and it was just the stereotypical dude that comes home from Burning Man and his girlfriend is just like, "How was Burning Man?" And he just flips out on her, right? Like, "What do you mean? How was Burning Man?" And it's an over exaggerated kind of situation, but the video is amazing.
It's quite accurate though.
Yeah, it's very accurate.
It's 9 days.
It's 9 days front to back. I think it opens on a Saturday or a Sunday, and then it closes on the following Monday.
We usually go for the 5.
So it's like Stampede.
Yeah, but like hot and sweaty and dehydrated.
Stampede's a fucking haul if you're giving her.
But have you ever done Stampede and done it every day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
really?
My younger days, I used to take it off every year. That was a week of my holidays, and I'd save up like $3,000 and just fucking go hog wild for a week.
He has a pretty good story about partying with a train driver. Well, I got guys driving the train.
I drove the C train one year. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's such a Calgary thing to say.
I'm gonna write a book one day on my Stampede experience. Maybe on my deathbed.
Oh, I'll buy that.
That was in my now I try and we go down one day usually on the last Sunday.
Yeah.
Because you go down in the morning, you can usually get free parking.
Yeah.
All the kid shit is half price.
Man,
so now I just take the kids.
Still, it's like $3,000 just for a day nowadays, like you going as a family.
Yeah.
It's got to be brutal.
I've never
we get the free entry, right? You get free entry till noon on the last day.
Oh, okay.
So that saves like
it's got the insider
$60 right there.
Yeah.
I've never gone to Stampede for more than one day, maybe sometimes twice if I'm feeling lucky, but you spend so much money on rides and booze,
deep fried food.
Oh, it's
deep
too
fried
much.
food. It's too much. I can't imagine doing all of that for a week because that's not healthy. It's different, like going out to music festivals and stuff like Burning Man, where like you're getting drunk as hell in the desert still and spending unnecessary amounts of money, but like there's education, there's workshops, and not
everybody's drinking, right? It's not like Stampede type drinking, like it's
not everybody.
Well, okay, Burning Man. At Burning Man, alcohol, everything is free. Alcohol is free everywhere you go. Like
everything's free. There is no money.
Yeah, one of the 10 principles of Burning Man is decommodification, and it's basically like a utopia where money doesn't exist. It's a gifting economy. Everybody's inspired to bring something to give to their fellow burner experience. And it's
without expectation of receiving anything in return. There's no bartering. There's no trade. It's just, I would like you to have this.
Wow.
Yeah. So every camp, like the camp that we were involved with last year, I mean, we bring our liquor donation. You stock the bar. You stock it to the ceiling. And then I think 2 of the days that we're down there, you host your camp party, and you just go around and draw people in and be like, come on in, open bar. People playing music, and it creates a really cool vibe because you get people that were just, kind of walking to the bathroom, and you go grab their arm and throw them in there, and 2 hours later they're just loaded at the bar and just having the greatest day. But everything, like liquor is free. So point being, like, people are drunk 24/7 if they want to be.
Right.
There's also a ton of like free food and just like random gifts that people will make, like necklaces and pendants that represent whatever camp they're at. And
acid.
Well,
I'll give you a solid maybe.
What was I remember listening to someone talking about Burning Man on the Joe Rogan show, and they had like their thing had like fucking surveillance vans and shit. They were able to, Buddy was able to like tap into satellite footage and check out some fucking war that was going on the other side of the world, all from Burning Man.
That was Bruce Damer from, he works for NASA. And he was actually, I was surprised to hear.
That's how you say NASA. That's correct. Correct pronunciation.
Yeah, that was a really interesting take of Burning Man because he was talking about what it's like inside one of those camps that's walled off from the public. And that's really discouraged out there. One of the
camps at Burning Man?
It was Plyagon.
It was called the Plyagon. It was the NASA and the Pentagon. It was their camp.
What?
Yeah. So, and he was talking about this one guy.
Did they park their RVs like a Pentagon?
I would hope so, seriously.
You always have to, right?
If they don't, that's
we need
wasted.
5 RVs.
You get a bunch of government officials, like if you're already into Burning Man, like you would have, I feel like it'd be a sin to not like put effort like that into your camp and make a pun out of it.
We should do that. We should rent 5 RVs.
No, I was
you guys make an igloo out there.
We'll have a secret. We'll have to just keep replenishing it because it's melting. That could be Graham's job.
Just make it out of styrofoam, recycled styrofoam or something.
Styrofoam bricks. I was actually going to encourage you guys to like make it out there because we found out that Duncan Trussell made it out this last year, and like we were going to bring our mobile podcast setup again, and like it's like propose road trip. You want to like go down to the Nevada desert?
Yeah, we did. We didn't use it though.
No trouble on the over the border.
No trouble over the border.
We're always a little worried driving over with our like bag of tricks that they're gonna open it up and just be like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Well, when we went down to Pirate Party in Montana, we got grilled about that on the way back up into Canada. We got really harshly drilled, and he was like, "What's all this equipment for?" And I tried to explain that it was a podcast, and I was actually worried at that point that he was going to ask if we were working in the States.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I maybe shouldn't have told him.
No, we're just doing it for fun.
One. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I told him, it was like, we just have a podcast. We just drive around to festivals and kind of document the culture.
That was an interesting experience, though, because, like, he asked us that, and then he also asked us, like, oh, you guys are coming from a music festival. What are the odds that anything that you own has come into contact with anything illegal? And we're like... We're at a music festival, like probably pretty high.
Man, you brush shoulders with somebody, you're covered in something.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's an exaggeration, but it's really like tough going through a border when like we don't really smoke pot, and like I always get grilled like having dreadlocks. We always just get totally profiled and
I get to go right through.
Yeah. You don't look like a hippie like we do.
I'm always worried though that they're gonna just like if they ever like. I'm actually more worried they're going to look in the bag, and we always have like magnets and cards and shit to give away.
Yeah.
And they'll see the fucking Moai smoking a joint, and they're Google Grimerica, and then we're in trouble.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what happened.
That, we're okay, but if they're like, "What's this Grimerica shit, boys? Why is this guy smoking a joint?"
Plus, they look at the last episode and some like anti-American.
Shit, what have we done?
That was similar to what happened to Gesso when he got denied access across the border because he was crossing from a music festival and somebody had left I think it was like a bag of mushrooms.
He didn't have anything, but
he didn't have anything that he knew about. Somebody had left like a bag of mushrooms like tucked in behind
it was
the
a crumb or
curtain.
something. It was a crumb.
Yeah, it was a super small amount. But then they Googled his name and found all of the books that he had written on psilocybin mushrooms as tools and medicine.
Wow.
And they straight up denied him entry, and he's never allowed back. He was going down to give a speech in like Washington or something like that.
That's brutal.
Out of the States. That
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah. And then we saw him a few days later, and it was like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to be on tour in the States.
He gave us like some tinctures to hang on to, and he comes back. He's like, "Yeah, I guess I can have those back now."
Yeah, he had stuff that wasn't illegal. He just had a bunch of tinctures, and he left them with us in Merritt, BC, before he went across the border. And he was just like, "Can you hold on to these because the border's probably going to give me a hard time." Sure enough, he went across the border and got a hard time, and they just decided to look up his name, and now he can't go into the States.
I wonder if they
it's really
Googled
harsh.
our name that time when we were just going to Spokane for the day.
Yeah, I thought so too, but then I
And
don't
then they
think
made us
they
pull
did.
over. But if you Google my name, not much comes up. It doesn't correlate my name to Grimerica.
No.
I'll check right
Best
now.
to keep it
No,
that way,
don't-
probably.
I don't think it does yours either.
No.
I think I've checked.
Maybe. Depends. Soon enough, probably. We're just finally getting out there a little bit more as far as like letting ourselves.
That's when
get
we're
out
in
there.
trouble.
Yeah. Well,
I think-
you probably take all the flack with the spam gram thing. You're like,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
the target.
Nobody realizes Grimes and Grimerica. There's like a connection there. So check out this. They were showing me on the map before you got in here, Darren. That is Burning Man, the city, the third biggest during Burning Man. It's the third biggest city in Nevada.
Yeah.
But right
It's
now,
actually on
it's,
Google
it's,
Maps.
The
it's
roads
on
are all
Google.
piped in and everything.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
they're just permanent roads.
Well, it was
No.
it was the 30th year this year, but no, it's not permanent. It's
It's
temporary.
a temporary city.
They set up flags, and you just
Same place every year.
same spot.
So you can probably see all the old like tracks and stuff.
No, they-
It all gets dusted over.
They stay there
Really,
for
eh?
like a month afterwards, and they recondition the land. It's on a leave no trace basis. They're allowed to use that land. It's like BLM land, right? So they're allowed to use it so long
Black Lives Matter.
a Bureau of Land Management. No, but they clean it up really well. They literally sift through the playa dust with a fine tooth comb and pick out every last piece.
well, and it's on like
Everybody does that. That's like group effort type thing. Or is
Yeah,
it-
every camp is supposed to, and actually, you get rated on how well you cleaned up your specific spot.
and that
Afterwards,
determines whether or not you're allowed to come back and do your camp next year. If you were
Yeah.
really shitty at cleaning up, and they won't let you come back and do another camp next
and then
year.
they do a grand clean of the whole area.
Huh.
But they release something called the MOOP map, and like MOOP is matter out of place, and they'll shame you if you were kind of
Kind of like an
lazy to clean
OOPART,
up.
like an out of place artifact.
Yeah. Same concept.
Can you donate to their foundation and then just leave it dirty?
But there's no money though.
I'm just
There's no
kidding.
money. You give them beer to clean up.
I was just thinking about how
That's
Darren,
different.
Darren increases the synchro rating if you donate to the show. Hint for all
Oh no,
people.
I'm reeling that back since you've aligned me with Clinton corruption. So I'm trying to reel that in.
I kind of noticed it though. I remember you were really hard on the synchros, and then it got kind of soft.
Well, they mention in the note that they donated. So now, I can't help but feel obliged to give them a decent score. They've supported the show.
Yep.
You know,
See, now this is now-
it's less than 1% of people that will support the show. So when someone supports it,
But now you know how Hillary feels when she's in front of the president.
they give you
And
25
she's
million.
like, well, I just like, my heart, I felt obligated, kind of just
I suppose the
25 million,
difference-
and now they want this change in policy. Like,
I suppose the difference is that Grimerica is not publicly traded or a government.
that's true.
Yet.
True.
Yeah. Until Darren
I'd
runs
never
for
go public.
mayor.
I'd never go public.
Yeah, what happens if you do run for mayor? You're going to continue on the podcast and
Yeah.
be the mayor of Chestermere?
If I'm see if I'm still podcasting in 10 years, but I think that would be like an added niche. It would make you like the hipster.
Isn't it a conflict of
You're like
interest?
the guy who
Trump
doesn't
and his
have cable.
company?
Can a mayor have a conflict of interest? Probably.
Yeah.
You better look into that before you.
No, I think you'd be okay. Maybe not.
There's only one way to find out, really. I
Yeah.
trust you.
Because by then, I mean, my biggest
Beef.
problem would probably be my pot smoking, and in 10 years, it'll be probably better than Ralph Klein's drinking.
Oh, come on. Like, Obama made it to president.
And he was one of
admitted
the-
he smoked pot.
Klein was one of the best leaders this fucking province ever had, and he was half cut down at the King Eddie most of the time.
Yep.
So
That's truth.
I think that's where we'll go back. They'll just want, an average Joe. It was never supposed to be a politician, right? That was never the idea.
You figure probably in 10 years, though, marijuana will be in a way better place than it is now.
It's going to be crazy. The fact, I think in 10 or 20 years from now, like by the time my kids are my age, for sure, it'll be like people won't believe that pot used to be stigmatized more than alcohol was.
Yeah. Well, it's like how we can't believe that alcohol went through prohibition at the same time.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think mushrooms, like when we were down in Washington.
That's not happening. Not in our life.
Just wait.
Okay,
like when we were down at the dispensary and they've got like the whole, like it's like a modern store, right?
Yeah,
and
we went into one of those.
And I thought to myself, this is going to happen with mushrooms sooner or later. I know, but he doesn't agree. He thinks it's a little bit. I mean, I think
it
they're
should.
Close. I think it should. Yeah.
Whether it should and whether it will are two different things. Though. I think the chances that you're going into a store someplace that's not like Portugal or fucking someplace like that, any place in the Western world, let's go with that. And buying mushrooms off the shelf is not happening.
We had
medical, maybe.
We had a really interesting experience. The first year we drove down to Burning Man and we drove through Washington, and that was the first year that marijuana was legal there.
Oh yeah.
And us as tourists, like we really wanted to have like, again, Tanner and I don't really smoke weed. Like we will like here and there if the setting is right or whatever. So we're driving through with a couple of our friends. We really want to have that like touristy like buy marijuana over the counter without having to like have a card or whatever. Like show us a dispensary. And we asked around a little bit and couldn't really find anybody. There was like one guy we walked up behind. He's like covered in tattoos. Like, hey, can you we're looking for a dispensary. He's like, oh, I got crack. I got coke. I got whatever you need. We're like, no. We're tourists.
Run.
We are tourists. So anyways, we find this dispensary. We're like looking around and like looking at all their merch and stuff like that. And the conversation that we had with this guy was just, they're allowed to sell us their pot. That's legal, but they can't bank any of their money because it's still a federal offense.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's also illegal for them to sell any of their merchandise because it's promoting like illicit drug culture still.
They were also they were selling things. It was fairly expensive. I think they had stuff for like $10 or $12 a gram or something.
And like the highest stuff was $30.
Yeah, but they also said that they were making absolutely zero profit, and they were just kind of like
covering the costs.
Because there was only one licensed person or organization that could distribute it to you. They had a monopoly on the pricing. So they were charging too much, and they were hoping that just to get their foot in the market and like show the vote of confidence for this stuff being legal and available, so that when things turned around and the market opened up to different distributors, the prices would come down and competition would come to the market. But they said that they were operating like dangerously because they were having trouble depositing the money, and at the same time not making any money. They were just kind of trying to pioneer like what was going on there, which was respectable.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, Matt, you can go down hard for that. Right?
I think it's changed now because I was down there a couple months ago and they're fucking
no, it's totally changed.
I was driving down the road and we're like, we got to find a dispensary here soon, and they're just fucking flapping in the wind, a giant roadside sign with the dude with the
wacky waving inflatable arm
and it
flailing
says fucking cannabis. You just pull in, and I actually found that the first time wasn't as good. Kind of like sex. It was like I was really excited and it was kind of awkward and I wasn't quite sure what to do. And then I bought some weed and got out of there. But then, like the fifth time I go into one, you're like, you can enjoy it more because you're comfortable. You're not feeling fucking sketched out like I shouldn't be doing this, but I am. But
it's like the same time, like with the first time you smoke weed in the first place.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's a wonderful analogy.
I did the pot tour down to Seaside and back. We had a pretty good time. Me and my wife went with no kids, went to Seaside and stayed in a hotel there. And it was nice. We went through Washington and Oregon. The scenery was beautiful.
Yeah,
There's fucking dispensaries along the side of the road the entire way.
Left his car to the rats.
You can buy pre-rolls, $6 or $5 or something. Yeah. The rats.
You got rodent damage, apparently. Rodent damage from the. That's what the dealership said. Anyways, I don't buy it.
What, rodent damage on the joints?
No, on my car.
Oh, right.
So we got stuck in Seattle for a day on the way back. It was tragic. Went to Kurt Cobain's house and the Museum of Rock and Roll.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was great, actually. It was it cost a little more than we anticipated, which is, the extra day probably ended up costing us almost $1,000.
Whoa.
Because it was 2 nights a hotel room and $400 American to fix the car. And then, we spent a bunch of money in Seattle that we wouldn't have spent otherwise, but in the end, it was great. Seattle was awesome.
There was coming out of Burning Man this year. Tanner had a really interesting experience. It was me and our buddy that we drove down with, tearing down the camp, and Tanner had to drive one of our other friends out to the bus terminal so that he could catch his bus back into, I think it was Reno. San Francisco, yeah. So he could catch his bus, and we're tearing down the camp, and he's taking a super long time, and it's the middle of the day. It's hot as hell in the desert. You don't know what the fuck is going on. You're dehydrated. It's the end of the week. You're partied out. And Austin and I are just sitting there like, where the hell is he? Like, he's taking a long time. And I'm trying to keep it in my head that, like, there must be a very good reason. Like, he wouldn't just ditch out on us like that. And I don't know if you want to take over from here.
Well, to tell the story as short as possible, I guess, like, there was a guy that just ran up and banged on my window and was like, me and my 4 friends need to be driven to the airport. Like, can you get us to the airport with our stuff? And I was like, yeah, I'll be back in like 5 or 8 minutes. I can help you out. And he's like, I'll give you like $1,000, man. And I was like, dude, you don't need to give me money. Like, I'll drive you to the airport. It's like 6 or 8 minutes that way. And so I came back and picked them all up and drove them out there. And it was just like this random, like, they kind of grouped together and they were like, yeah, we're going to pay it forward. And he just starts pulling out this wad of hundreds and just starts flipping $1,000 American.
You're telling the short version of the story.
Yeah, it's short, but
you're pretty convinced that it was Colin Farrell and that he didn't mention $1,000 right off the bat.
Well, yeah, he sort of did, but I'm almost positive that it was Colin Farrell, but because like he kind of slipped on the accent at one point, but he was speaking mostly American accent, which I know he's good at.
Yeah, the eyebrows.
Did he seem like he was bad acting?
No,
Colin Farrell, he's a badass, right? He's the one that was talking about getting hookers like pizzas.
What?
I think that's him, right?
It could be. I mean, like he gave me
$1,000. He seems like, yeah, I remember an interview with him, and he's like, yeah, I get hookers, but he's like, this is like ordering a pizza for you. He's like, I've got so much money.
Well, I mean, one of our friends was camped with Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry. Like, there's just such a celebrity thing going on. Like, Coachella's bad for it, too. There's just the Paris Hilton effect.
Oh, yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the hooker guy.
Tanner, look at that face and tell me it wasn't Colin Farrell.
I know what Colin Farrell looks like. He was wearing sunglasses, so I couldn't verify the eyebrows. But
he's a sexy motherfucker.
You mean the eyebrow?
How could you say no to that face?
Still,
he tried to say no. He said he didn't want his money. And
yeah,
he's
I
like,
said I wouldn't take it because it just seemed absurd to take
paying you
$1,000.
$1,000 like pizza.
It was a 5-minute drive.
Well, and I was also driving them to the airport to leave Burning Man on a private jet, basically, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, I'm positive that was Colin Farrell. And,
right.
And I kind of drove away from it. Like, one thing about the Burning Man
Did you take the money in the end?
Well, he said that he was like, you don't have to take it. I'll put it in your back seat if you want. Like, you don't have to take it from me, but I'm going to leave it with you.
Was it this guy?
Oh God, I hope so.
I was surprised he came back.
Well, and it's funny because our experience was gifted to us, like the very nature of it was gifted to us. We weren't prepared. We weren't even sure that we'd have enough money to make it back. And Tanner's cargo trailer, the one that got drawn on that we were talking about before, the tread on the tires was really wearing away, and we weren't even sure if it was going to make it back in one piece, let alone us having the money let alone have the money to pay for it. So us having this $1,000 really helped us get back. He got his tire changed. We went for epic sushi all the way back.
Hotels. Just it paid for the trip home.
Oh, that's great.
But the thing is, like, the point of the whole story is just how bizarre. Like, every single year at Burning Man, the strangest things happen. Like, you want to rate synchros? Go to the desert for a week and just like exist in that environment and how bizarre.
I'm gonna go one day.
Yeah, we want to go. We want to go one day for sure, and I mean, we'll do it like with the podcast in mind, obviously.
Totally.
But can you? Because I see all these. Can you give us a visual picture of it as well? Because I see all these things where I see this huge like art exhibition, and sometimes I flip through like on Instagram or something, looking for pictures and all. But then you see nothing around it either, right? Like it just seems like it's all these like hidden little gems or like.
Zoom back into it for a second.
Yeah, zoom back in because the valley that it's in is actually really, really wide. It's got to be like 10 miles wide or so.
It would take, I would say, like, if you need a bike when you go to Burning Man, you don't want to walk everywhere because you'll never get anywhere. And even on a bike, you'll never see everything. It's 70,000 people.
What if you just jog around? Like, can you jog?
You want to jog all week in the desert, you have fun.
Around, have his shirt off.
The circle is 2 miles.
He just runs
diameter.
Like the Terminator. He never slows down. He's like, we're back here like driving.
It's like the Running Man. I was supposed to be the Running Man.
Yeah. Running Man at Burning Man.
That'd be the greatest movie ever made.
That whole diameter is 2 miles.
We'll just throw a GoPro on Graham and make a documentary, sell it to Netflix.
So it's like almost 3 kilometers, right? So
yeah.
So all of the art, you're not going to be able to.
It's actually 3.2 kilometers.
All of the art is situated like this. There's art that happens all the way out here.
Yeah, it's called the Deep Playa
and
out
it's
there.
few and far between. And like half the time during the day when you're biking out there, these like crazy whiteout dust storms pick up. Like you can't even see like your hand 2 feet in front of you. If you're following people around, you got to be able to make sure that you're within earshot. Because even then, like the wind is so intense that it just like cuts through any sound that you're trying to shout at somebody. So if you lose somebody, they're gone.
I'll just show you a video.
Is it always windy there?
No.
Not always, no.
Does it get like sketchier near the fringes, or they're like bad neighborhoods, Burning Man neighborhoods? Like you get it farther out to the desert.
No, but you will get like the super old school burners who have been there like all 30 years, and they're all shitty about it. Like, oh, Burning Man isn't what it used to be.
Burning Man.
All these kids with their electronic music coming in, and
their LED lights.
Yeah,
with the hipping and the hopping and the bipping and the bopping.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see.
There's a video on my phone here of a dust storm that we got stuck in. You can barely see the sun.
We had just lost one of our friends at this point.
Yeah, you're grounded for like 20 minutes.
You just hit the dirt.
You don't know which way is which. You hope that an art car is driving by and playing music so that you can like follow it.
It's just a great video.
There's
Pirates and whose pirate flag was it?
There's
Just
no
standing
vehicles
there like a
running around or
pirate.
anything. Like you don't have to worry about getting run down or anything.
Yeah,
Oh, you do?
Yeah, you definitely do.
Super.
That's one thing. At night, you have to really you have to light yourself up really well. You have to have stuff dangling off you with lights. Otherwise, everybody runs by you and they call you Dark Wad.
Because you'll get hit by a car.
They'll be like,
so Burning Man, they put the onus on the people to have the lights instead of the cars.
oh, it's that amusement park where you sign the waiver when you're walking in, and you're like, you know what you're getting into. Don't fuck up.
So glow sticks.
Yeah,
glow sticks aren't bright. They're not bright enough.
No.
Yeah.
You need LED. You need just something that's flashing, something that draws the attention. Because these cars sometimes they're booking along the desert, and they've got a bar on the first level, a bar on the second level, like
and
a
no
double-decker bus. Yeah, they got lights, but
they're blasting loud music, and if you're super dark and trying to shout at them to stop,
hey guys,
because,
splat.
Yeah,
no, it's rough. You got to be on your toes out there. Plus, they pretty much burn everything. They light everything on fire.
There was a story that I heard of this was a couple of years before our first year. There was a couple that got crushed because they decided to set up their tent in the Deep Playa.
That was one of the earlier Burning Mans, I think. Somebody had a tent out there, and there was people like driving around in a 4x4, just like shooting guns out the window and just full tilt. And I guess they just went right over a tent.
Wow.
So yeah, there has been a fair amount of deaths in the 30 years of Burning Man.
That'll be Graham's little 2-man tent there.
Mine's a 1-man
took a little break from his job.
Not even 2-man.
Just like a tube sock.
I really recommend.
Is it like one of those Caterpillar ones that like they just like fold out of a hula hoop?
No, not quite. But it's pretty bad.
So solo camping.
So what was your experience like at Astral? That's one thing I wanted to like really connect with you about.
Oh, he had a blast. He was like giddy for like a week after.
I remember you roasting him about it being a rave.
Oh, yeah. It's a fucking rave.
It's a rave. Was it a rave?
It's a rave.
Oh, yeah. Well, you were like,
it's different from a rave though.
Well, yeah, I know. I've been to some festivals for sure. They're like raves. They're like raves that turn off.
What festival have you been to? Like, I don't think you've been to these types of festivals. Like Lollapalooza doesn't count.
That doesn't count. That's not the same.
Yeah, it's in the same kind of world, right? It's music at night.
I remember I used to go to End of the World Festival out by Kenora, and there used to be like a guy on a bike that drove around selling chocolate-covered mushrooms.
Sounds similar.
Yeah.
And then I've done I can't remember what it was called, but I've definitely done the electronic music. When I used to do like more ecstasy and stuff, I used to love to go find some music and just groove.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like that element's always still there with the Western Canadian music festivals, but like nowadays, it's one of those like greatest times to be alive because it's incredible what they're doing out there. I mean, you can attest to the main stage at Astro Harvest, like the audio-visual experience, all the video mapping. I think that's a team from Mexico that comes up and does
this year was the craziest shit I've ever seen at Astro Harvest for the main stage. I was trying so hard to listen and dance to the music, but the whole time I was just standing there like, this is fucking cool.
Yeah. That's what I liked about it is like I didn't partake in any kind of drugs or alcohol at all. So I stayed clean and sober throughout, but I definitely felt like high from the music and just from the environment, the people and the art. So I loved
probably a little bit of contact high, you bump into people.
It was crazy. And like coming away from like ski tour, like it was crazy. Like I was just like,
isn't it?
No, ski tour.
Those guys have a knack at hyping up a crowd, though.
Yeah, there was something about it. I ended up there. I didn't even know it was them. I just ended up there, and I'm like, who are these guys? What's going on? Like, I was just
I can picture it.
You don't know what's going on.
Glow sticks.
Next thing you know, you're being like covered in this like snow foam. You're like, where's this coming from?
Yeah, everybody's in their goggles, ski goggles. I'm like, why is people
There's people
wearing
like stomping through the crowd with actual skis on and their poles dancing.
Yeah, they get an awesome crowd response. They have a gimmick, but it works so well. Like even in the heat of summer, you see people like crowding around the stage when they're about to go on, and they're in their goggles and there's like their vests and their snow pants.
And it's like hot as hell in the middle of the day. You're like, you guys are diehards.
Yeah. So and I like that, and I did some of the workshops. I like the whole learning about stuff. Like there was some cool workshops, learning about yourself and partnering up with people and like having some pretty deep conversations. Like I felt like
no sleep.
And this was very little sleep. Like and the one morning, the last morning, I was like, why does the music, it's not stopping at all. And like my tent is miles away from the stage, but I can still feel it thumping. And it was Ski Tour, and I didn't realize it, just playing all these old remixes and all that. And I'm like, I was kind of half asleep. Then I wake up to this old 70s song being remixed. Like, what's going on? It's still going on. So all morning long.
Yep.
But
did you get a chance to like check out the sanctuary at all and like peek your head in and see what it's about?
No, not really. No, I wasn't sure what to do with that. But the feeling I got was that it really is like a different culture, like different than what we're used to here. Like it is to me, and it sounds so cliche, and it's all cliche, but it really is kind of like love and light and all that stuff. Like it just seemed like people were just really, there wasn't any conflict or violence, or I didn't even get the sense that like, I mean, I'm sure it could happen with that type of, maybe people having bad trips or whatever, but it really felt genuinely open and loving,
like lack
and
of judgment,
getting along, and and that's what was interesting is people just want to they just want to be creative and dress how they want to dress and be how they want to be without being judged. It felt like an area for a space for people to just do whatever they wanted without worrying about the judgment, which I guess Burning Man is like that at a massive scale, right? So people can do whatever they want creatively.
It's like the most hedonistic environment that you will ever experience, but like in the lightest way. Well, it's not also, like evil or dark. It's just like you just want to do what feels good.
They also really fit into the category of what they describe as transformational music festivals, and like I definitely get that from them. There's actually a documentary series that I want to suggest.
Who do you mean? The Astral Harvest? You mean?
Astral Harvest. Well, all of them really.
All of them are transformational.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's a documentary series called the Bloom series.
Yep.
Is it called Transformational Music Festivals? And they did a massive project where they showcased all of the Western Canadian and even like the stuff down the Western North American, like a lot of the festivals.
Right.
Shambhala and Astral Harvest are in there, Base Coast. Symbiosis. I think Burning Man
Motion Notion.
Maybe, Motion Notion. And the documentary series, I think 2 of them are out. And I think it's supposed to be 4.
3 or 4,
But I really recommend watching it because I think even like the second documentary is more about like what Astral Harvest provides, where you can actually bring your family and your kids there.
Yeah.
And that's rare. I think we only know of like 2 festivals that are all ages like that, where they're actually nurturing to like a family bringing a small child.
There's specific workshops for kids and stuff like that.
Can you imagine growing up like in that environment?
Yeah,
Like,
I know. It would be so different.
Yeah.
So
is Shambhala like the biggest Canadian one?
Well, it's
Western Canada's biggest.
Is there bigger ones out east?
Actually, I don't.
Not Eastern Canada, no.
Because there wasn't a lot in Ontario. It didn't seem like. It seems like the scene out here is a lot bigger.
Yeah.
I think Shambhala is the biggest electronic music. I don't quote me on this because it might be something else in the East Coast. It should
have that title. Shambhala gets about 17,000 people, but that's their overall attendance. That's how many tickets and volunteers and staff and everything, like the full numbers. But then there's that one, that Chasing Summer, that happens. In Fort Calgary. I know, but
that's not transformational. That's just it's EDM,
just,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's partying on a concrete slab.
Like. They get 9,000 people each day, and you can buy tickets for each day, so they count it as like 18 or something. So technically, they say they're the largest in.
And where is that location? Because that's not Chasing Summer in Calgary, though. I mean, Calgary. I've seen that before, but is that where they get the 9,000 each time?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But Shambhala is just. I mean, I don't like the stuff where you're just stuck on a concrete platform in front of a big stage and speakers. Like you go to Shambhala, you go to Astral Harvest, you're in the forest. You can actually walk down and sit in the river.
Chasing Summer too is a different crowd. It's a different kind of music. It's a lot more of like the popular electronic music that you, like stuff that you would
not
be
like
more likely to hear. Yeah, you would not hear psytrance there. And
it's all like Tiesto and those guys.
Yeah,
right?
and like Diplo and stuff like that, Skrillex and
100%.
Yeah.
See, I don't understand. Like, I like a lot of that different music, and I like a lot of the stuff at Astral Harvest, but I still can't like parse them all apart and figure out like what kind I like. Like, I like some of everything, but it's so confusing now. It's crazy.
Exactly. No, I agree.
When Tanner and I first met, it was funny because like I had already been involved in like when I was going to raves when I was 14, just being a dumb kid and taking dumb things and all that stuff. And then, you know, I didn't get out of it. I still like stuck with the music and stuff. But then when I met Tanner, he was really into metal and like had like brief exposure to electronic music. And I'll never forget this conversation just being like, man, like all of these stupid genres and subgenres, you got your trance and your side trance and your deep house and tropical house and jungle house and all this other shit. Acid house. Yeah. Acid house is really good.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing in the metal world.
But the metal world works the same, like Norwegian death metal.
And it seems like over the last 15 years, like all these music things just, maybe because of the internet, just splintered into all these different genres.
Yeah. Well, people strive to coin a term to something that they're not able to understand or something that's new. So it's a natural progression for, you know, somebody comes up, like Massive Attack did it when they first started making music. Like people started calling them what's now known as trip hop, and they got pissed off because they didn't want to be defined by anything. You know? Like they wanted to have their own sound, and it's only natural for people to try and coin terms. It's the way that language works. It's only natural for people to coin terms to things that they don't understand.
Label stuff,
pattern recognition.
Because then how else are you supposed to be able to find it again? If you're really into somebody's sound, it's like, what do I call that? How do I find other people that make music?
Yeah, that's a good point. It is pretty natural to do that, I guess. Yeah.
I never got into the metal. I like the electronic a lot more than the metal. My wife used to be big into the Calgary metal scene, but I'll take electronic over metal for sure.
The crowd is it's so different. Like you find it's just a lot more of an accepting and loving and nurturing crowd. And I've been to metal shows with Tanner before, and everybody's great. Like you're moshing and like slamming around, like you fall down, people will pick you up. But there's those certain assholes.
The 5% of the crowd that just like they get off on punching you in the teeth. And they don't, you know.
Yeah. I don't do either crowd. I don't do crowds.
Yeah.
So you guys actually DJ too then?
Yeah.
And you do that locally, and you do that at some of the festivals as well?
Yeah, we do that locally, and not every festival, most of them.
Yeah, we got to play twice this year on Astral Harvest.
Really?
On the main stage.
Really?
Well, we had daytime sets for both. Actually, they kind of gave us the honor to like open up the festival and close the festival this year.
Wow.
Because we represent Astral Harvest in Calgary.
We help sell their tickets and
we host their pre-parties.
Oh wow!
We reached out to them because Astral Harvest was kind of special to us. It was a festival that if we wanted to work with one, we wanted to walk up and be like, hey, we want to represent you in Calgary.
Wow!
Plus, they're based out of Edmonton, so it's a close enough connection.
So we kind of were just their Calgary team, and we get to play the festival every year. And
cool.
As of last year and this year, and it's been an honor. And we got to play a couple sets at Motion Ocean this year too.
Yeah,
wow. Can you guys give us some music for this episode?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Well, Callie, you've got one or two tracks that you've got completed. We could do one of yours, or we could just do something like...
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah, we could use one of mine.
That's cool. So you guys...
just email it over the next... We got 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah. So what? Oh, I got so many questions now. Holy cow! So Astral Harvest, is it going to be good this year too? Like, is it going to be like another one to go to? Or really?
I promise. Yeah.
Even it was really surprising to see the lineup that they released this year, considering like the Canadian dollar's been absolute shit.
Yeah.
We saw a significant drop with pretty much every festival, just because like a lot of the talent that gets booked is American or like across the border or whatever. Astral still kept it together pretty well, as did a lot of the other ones, but I was so impressed.
Yeah, they weathered the storm pretty good.
And I heard that it seemed pretty genuine for the people that own the land, that they were really appreciative, like they wanted to have that on there. Like it seems very...
The people that own the land, there's also, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of North Country Fair, but that's also another festival that gets held on those same grounds.
Oh.
And it's bigger. I think there's 4 other stages.
Yeah, it's huge, but
it's country music
stages.
or
it's
like folk and
music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think there's some electronic.
Also, might be. I don't know.
I can't remember. But
so these people that own the land, they'll do that they'll have different fairs and festivals there.
I assume for the right people, because this past year was Astral Harvest
7th,
I think it was the 9th.
Wow, already, holy.
8?
No, 8th.
2, 12?
8th. It's actually on a reservation. I can't remember which one.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like a school out there, and it's
Drift pile.
Drift pile is the town.
Dirt pile.
Ouch.
It's like, why did you name
live
it
in
that?
dirt pile? Why'd you name it dirt pile?
It's like 7 hours north of here, though, so it does.
Yeah.
It kind of gets cold up at night.
So Western Canada is more. There's more sort of these transformational festivals in Western Canada, because now that I'm sort of paying attention a bit more, I thought there's some pretty big ones in Eastern USA, but maybe not Canada. So like there is still like a pocket here where there's kind of more than normal.
Even Western United States have more of this kind of vibe than the East Side does.
Yeah.
Like,
what is there on the East Side?
What even is there on the East Side?
I know there's one in like Nova Scotia called Evolve.
Yeah, but that one ended up the owner of that was weird or something.
Yeah, it's more represented on the West Coast, I think, which is nice for us because we just drive straight south. We went. There was one called Lightning in a Bottle that we drove down.
Yeah.
It was like right on the border of Mexico, pretty much the year that we went to that. It was.
We drove to Mexico.
Well, we were like a half an hour from Tijuana. We wanted to go across, but while we were at the festival, we kept inquiring with everybody, like, we kind of want to just go over and have a shot of tequila and a couple tacos, just because I've never been to Mexico.
Say we did it.
And everybody was like, "Don't do it.
It's not worth it."
Not like, Tijuana.
Canadian passports. And you got a bunch of camping gear, and you're driving into Tijuana. Like the cops will extort you.
Yeah,
like don't do it. Just don't do it.
Wow.
So we didn't do it.
So did you go to Coachella?
How long did it take you to drive down there? That's got to be
26 hours.
Is that all
straight
it is?
driving? Or
I think to Burning Man it's like 22 hours
Burning
if you
Man's
did
22.
it straight. We do it over the course of 3 days. We have friends like all the way down.
I think if you wanted to get to Mexico, you could do it in 30 hours.
Really? Yeah, I can't even get to Toronto in 30 hours.
Really? Well, actually, if you look at the map, I'm pretty sure that's like the same distance.
Google it.
Toronto's about 40 hours from here.
40, holy shit.
Yeah.
I feel like it's because we were.
Yeah, that makes sense. Look at how far you got to go from there.
Toronto, you have to go around the lakes, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, look at how far Toronto is down.
So
here.
I'm from northwestern Ontario, and I can drive to Calgary faster than I can drive to Toronto.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Western Canada actually starts on the east side of Winnipeg. There's a sign that says you are now passing the longitudinal center of Canada.
That doesn't look right.
It's sort of, if you consider the islands.
Yeah, look at all.
The Maritimes.
Yeah, that looks, yeah.
Yeah, I always had trouble believing it when I was a kid, because you go to Winnipeg and I'd drive by the sign, I was like, fuck, Canada must be big.
So did you go to Coachella too then down there?
No, we've never been to Coachella. That's I hear it's a really different vibe, but you get a lot of stuff over there, like the Black Keys and
where's that?
Right, that's
it's
a little bit more
festival.
of a main. Oh, is that?
Where's Coachella?
Coachella's near Palm Springs, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, California.
There's two weekends they have it now. I think I've been learning. It's all coming back to me from you guys on your podcast.
Right. They got so big that they decided to host Coachella twice. To just do it the next weekend as well.
What? I never heard that.
You didn't? Yeah, I think that was in that ski tour podcast that we were talking about. That it got so big.
I don't listen to our podcast.
Well, if you sell,
I know what you mean.
Even Shambhala this year, the 20th anniversary, Shambhala sold out in 24 hours or something. It just like boom, 18,000 tickets.
So have you guys seen a growth in this thing happening then?
Yes,
since you're doing
absolutely.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons.
What do you think? Why? Like
because people are yearning for something. They're yearning for this experience, like to be able to express yourself and not have anything to worry about. There's so much societal pressure for you to conform and be and do and act a certain way that when you go to these festivals and you come back from them and just it's the only thing that you know how to talk about. It's the only thing that you know how to express.
The experience is profound. That's what happened when I went to my first. Like I relate to the transformational festival category, or just like the moniker, because I came home and I was like, what the hell? Like I didn't know that this kind of thing existed. And it was infatuating. It was like infectious.
Wow.
And it's an organic reach. People go out to these places and then they come back and they're like, man, I really think you'd enjoy this. And like, just our first Shambhala, actually the first episode I think that I listened to your guys' podcast was the one that you did with Jamie Janover.
Yeah.
And,
I was going to ask you about that too.
Yeah.
So
one of our first Shambhala, we wandered in one night into a geodesic dome in the back of one of the stages that was hosting workshops, and Jamie Janover was hosting one of Nassim Harriman's workshops. Can you remember like how
I do.
Our minds were like ripped to shreds? Like this is our first festival. I've never seen anything like that. Sitting here like listening to Jamie Janover talk about this quantum theory and like the fabric of the universe and all these. Like,
and we'd never even really been exposed to anything like that before.
And getting up and walking away and just being like, wow.
What even was
you,
that?
You get that feeling like, I see why everybody's been saying like, you got to see this. You got to get out here and experience this.
Yeah.
And then the music, you know, like I remember the first night that the sun went down and the music and the stages started to light up, and Shambhala's on a much higher level production than a lot of Astral's catching up in terms of like stage production, but Shambhala's through the roof. So like the first night I remember just being in the crowd watching what was taking place and just being like dumbfounded. It's like, I can't believe this has been happening all this time and I didn't know about it.
Yes, exactly. And that's kind of the way I felt, because I was like, this is a full audio visual experience. Like you're feeling it in your bones and you're looking at this. It was pretty crazy.
Shambhala is interesting though, because like they release like you show up and you get in line and you pay an extra $80 to get in the early day so that you can get in and like get decent camping spots that are in the shade and stuff, because it gets hot as hell out there. And they open the first 2 stages on the Thursday night. So there's only 2 stages running, and then they open the rest of them. There's 4 other stages on the Friday so that you can go and explore. In our first year, we're in there and we're running around, and we paid the $80 to get in on the Wednesday night. So there's not even any music, but there's 2 of the stages that you have access to that are open that you can go and like at least kind of check it out and see it and explore it. And then the following night, those 2 stages are open, but the rest of the 3 are like hidden back in the woods, so you have no idea what's coming.
You can sort of see them through the trees, and every so often they do a sound check or like an audio visual check. And you just hear this
bass coming through the field that's like, you're like, where the hell is that coming from?
And these stages, they kind of end up having like this anime sort of character-esque, like the one that we work with at Shambhala is called the Pagoda stage. Yeah. And it's this big Japanese pagoda, and like when they were sound checking it that one year, they used Tool, like they were just blasting a bunch of Tool tracks, and you couldn't access the stage.
Spiritual.
But there was just this massive audio-visual stage, just like screaming from inside the trees and like playing all this music, and everybody swarms over, and they're just like, "What is that?"
That was cool because we were working the stage and like had helped build like a week before. It was I think it was Colin that like went up to fucking whoever it was that was running the sound checks, just like, you need to play Tool, you need to play Tool. Only the people who are a part of the crew are allowed to like be in there, obviously, during the sound check. So you see this massive crowd of people come up because they're like moths to a light. They're like, oh, bass, what's going on? And then the music starts going, and there's a crowd of like 12 of us flailing around as hard as we can to Tool at an electronic music festival on like one of the most insane speaker systems that we have available.
Wow. A stage and a sound system designed for 10,000 people, and you have the whole thing to yourself. You can just like drop your knees down in the sand. But the point is a pretty cool experience.
Listen to podcasts.
Yeah. The point that I was trying to make before with like the stage, like 2 of the stages opening early and then the rest of them, it's like, it's almost better to do it that way because it's not as much of a shell shock. It's like kind of a gradual lead into it. Because I feel like if all 6 stages opened at the same time, you'd be like, you don't know what to do. Like, there's cool stuff over here, there's cool stuff over there. And
you feel like you're missing. What's that term? There's a term when you're missing something.
FOMO.
Have you heard that before?
What's that?
Fear of missing out.
Oh yeah, I used to have that bad when I was a kid, man.
Do you have the? Do you know what the term is? I was like, do you know what the term is though?
You worried if you're gonna leave? No, I've never heard it before.
No, that's what they're that's this new.
Fear of missing out.
That's what the kids are saying. I don't want to call you kids, but
I know that though, and I can see it in my kids now, where they're like, they don't want to do it. They feel like they're missing something if they just go to the bathroom for.
That's what you get like when you're on the main stage and you're thinking there's something going on in the other 3 stages and you don't know what to do.
Fuck, we're such an ADD generation. Like everything, we have information available to us at any given point in time. You want an answer, you Google it on your phone. Like instant gratification. People using what's the dating app, Tinder or whatever. People just swiping left and right like they're shopping for humans at the grocery store, just instant gratification. So when you're not constantly fed that stimulus, when you have to go to the bathroom for a second and something cool's happening, you're like, what the hell am I doing with my life? Like,
well, that's when you have the iPood inside the toilet where the magazines used to go. That one stays in the bathroom.
Gotta disinfect it every once in a while.
Yeah, it's like the book, like the Seinfeld where he brought the book in the bathroom, and they're like, you bought that one, bud.
I don't remember that up. So what genre do you guys play then as a DJ?
Like a lot of glitch hop and mid tempo, like kind of heavy Heavy bass music.
Oh, okay.
Deep, sexy goodness.
Yeah, like deep and sexy describes it, but at the same time, like we really like to pride ourselves as being really multi-genre.
Right.
We don't like to pigeonhole.
Yeah. So where will you play next? Where's your next event?
I'm playing on New Year's.
Yeah.
Like the next event
Ooh,
that
I don't do New Year's.
the next event that we're hosting is on New Year's Eve at the Legion downtown across from City Hall Stage.
I do another night though, for sure.
Yeah. Probably the next one after that we'll be doing is probably in February.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think it was when Jesso was on here, he invited. You said you went to the psychedelic semi-formal.
Yeah.
And I realized I was like, shit, I was there, and I guess I didn't.
Oh, yeah. Did you speak there?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I was there for the party after.
Yeah,
I wasn't there for the workshops.
Yeah.
But
I already denied
I left
James
before the party
New Year's,
started.
so I think he'd be James would be jealous if I went to another show after.
It's okay, we don't have to tell him.
Yeah, exactly. Just go to both.
2 places on New Year's.
Yeah.
Dude, some people go to like 12.
If I didn't drink, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Some
The
people
last
go
couple
bar
times I
hopping.
went out, I didn't drink.
Yeah.
Actually, no, the last time I went out, I drank. That's right. And I ran into Sean LaRock.
Really?
He's a night ruiner.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Sorry, Sean, if you listen. Well, he just kept talking.
He's Sean's boss, so.
He just kept wanting to talk about work all night. And I was just like, just come on, man. Even my wife was like, stop fucking bugging him about work, bud.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, you have to keep in touch and tell us where you're going in February, and I want to come by.
Yeah, we do have a surprising number of local listeners, so let us know and we'll do shout outs for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So what about the rest of all these? You guys are going to do the whole what do you call it again? The festival trail and
circuit.
on the circuit, because it
do
really is, because
Burning Man
there's not a lot of crossover, right?
Yeah.
Like you go
Yeah.
one weekend to the next, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to do. So do you want to just?
My
quickly
advice
run
would be to
down
go
what you
now.
are?
Go now, because once you guys have kids.
Usually
then-
we do, we start with the first one we do. The first one we did this past year was called Tribe. And that was the first year that it ran. Millie, the girl who we mentioned before that brought us out to Burning Man, runs it.
Yeah, it's out at Camp Chief Hector in Kananaskis.
And she's doing that again this year. I don't know the dates on it specifically.
But I actually have to make like a Google Doc that has everything laid out week by week,
so we know what the hell is going on.
I'll go with you guys in like 10 years, 11 years.
No, what? Just come to one local guy, like a local one. You don't have to come away for the weekend.
No, I mean
can
Burning
you just go
Man.
for
I
a
want to
day?
do.
Absolutely, yeah.
I want to do Burning Man.
Yeah.
So you can just go for a day and a night or whatever. Like you could just stay up and then drive home if you want. Like if I'm not drinking, I could go hang out all night and just drive home in the morning.
Most music festivals will sell you cheaper tickets.
Yeah,
but
it's not
let's just do that.
But it's usually only on the last
Burning
day.
Man,
right.
Yeah. It's usually only on the last day because there's no way that they can guarantee that like you're only going to stay for the Friday night or whatever, right?
Because if I was going to do Burning Man, that's how I'd want to do it. I'd want to drive down and take the time we started... probably realistically, I can't see myself doing it when my kids are young, or you know, it's just that my holiday time I like to spend with them.
Do kids go to Burning Man?
Yep.
Yeah, it's all
There you
ages.
go.
I wouldn't recommend it your first year.
Yeah.
You drive down with your kids and I'll skydive in.
You'll skydive
Bring your
in.
kids to
there you
Astral
go.
Harvest though, seriously.
I'm taking my kids next year to, we're going down to watch the eclipse. I think it's August 17th.
Oregon eclipse?
Yeah, it's the only like total solar eclipse within driving distance.
Yeah,
in
there's a festival that's happening on that weekend that actually.
There you go. You could do both at once.
We haven't decided exactly where we're going. I think I'm going to stay inland, just because eclipses and gravity and faults and waves.
Oh, come on!
Remember Cliff High? So the shit's going down.
That's right. You were going to be there to save the day.
That's right. I can't save the day if I get taken out by a tidal wave.
That episode was pretty profound, but I've had a hard time like kind of deciphering anything as
he melted
intriguing
my brain, that guy.
from his YouTube. Like,
yeah,
he was saying a bunch of stuff about Hillary dropping out of the race or something, and I remember just being I
don't see anything he said really
she
came
kind of
true,
did, but
no,
at
the time I was just like, holy fuck, this
Same.
guy's.
I said to Callie, I was like, man, it's like the Fox Mulder effect. Like I feel like I'm just like all in right now.
Yeah.
Well, no, and then you showed me the episode, and like I was getting like more and more into it too, and then it wasn't until you started looking in to like seeing if anything was coming true. You're just like, well, I don't know, man.
Well, maybe he was picking up on Hillary actually dropping out when she wouldn't even address the crowd until
or
the
when
next
she just
day.
fell, or maybe when she just fell down,
fell on her face.
There's some hate mail.
But anyway,
Yeah, sorry about that.
we start.
So what's after Tribe then?
After Tribe is Inshallah. Inshallah is a really beautiful festival.
Inshallah, right.
If you want to, like, if you're into like the spiritual and like the workshop stuff and like psytrance and stuff, very like the most perfect festival to bring your kids to.
Yeah.
It is so family friendly, like not a lot of like drug culture and presence. Like marijuana is one thing, but it's not like, it's not a party.
That's a medicine. Marijuana's a medicine.
Exactly.
Well, so is all the psychedelics too. So
yeah. You'll see more.
That's kind of more the drug scene, right? It's not like there's not a lot of like hard drugs there.
Not at Inshallah, no.
No. I mean, in most festivals, is there?
Shambhala,
a little bit of everything,
Shambhala and Motion Notion.
You always get surprised, man. There was one year at Shambhala where somebody just like came up to me on a pathway and was like, "Do you know where to get heroin?"
Yeah, and you're like, "What?
Are you serious?
Why do you want to do that at a party?
Like, why didn't you just stay home?"
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
So where's Inshallah again?
It's in
Fort McLeod.
Fort McLeod. Is that
just
2 hours south of here?
Yeah, Fort McLeod.
Oh, that's it.
I always get the Fort.
Yeah,
I get the forts mixed up.
And it's like halfway to most of the way to
The
Lethbridge.
Fort mix.
Yeah. And it's actually where they host South Country Fair.
Fair, so the opposite of North Country Fair, which is Astral Harvest.
Oh, and then Inshallah and Astral Harvest seem like they're kind of like sisters as well.
Yeah, but Inshallah is only 400 people.
It's very small. It's very intimate. It's very beautiful.
Yeah,
seriously.
I don't know if I can handle that. I need more people than that.
Just disappear in the crowd a bit.
Yeah, it's a bit too like
too small.
I keep seeing the same people over and over.
Me and Graham are that opposite. I'd prefer smaller crowds.
So you bring your kids to Inshallah.
Yeah,
and you could be there for a day or even half a day.
See, I might do like that's where I might just drive down, do a day, and then drive back or something.
It's close enough that you could do that.
Yep.
Too many people. I start just
And then
I'm sure they're nice people and everything. I'm not saying that. I'm just like when the grocery store crowd's up, I'm just like, oh god.
And then
abort.
After that is it's Astral Harvest after that, right?
Looking at the map here, we got.
That's in August. Is that Astral Harvest August?
No, Astral Harvest is June usually.
Is it June? Was it that early in the year?
Yeah.
They changed their dates this year.
Tribe was in May.
Well, that's right around the longest days of the year, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Astral Harvest is always the first weekend of July, but this year it's the second weekend of July.
Mm-hmm. Astral Harvest and then Motion
First
Notion.
weekend's usually long weekend too, right?
Yeah, that's the one that they usually are on, but they switched it up.
Yeah.
And there's like an entire circuit. I don't have it filled in because not a lot of them have their dates listed yet. But actually, one of them that I would suggest is Freezer Burn. It's the regional Alberta Burning Man event. So it's
all of the burners that go to Burning Man.
800 people.
Event.
They do exactly what Burning Man does on a very small scale.
Would they be cool with like a non-burner?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's the point.
It's
it's like entry level.
It's meant to be an inclusive environment. It's not supposed to be like, holier than, or they call it burnier than that.
Burnier than that.
Yeah. But
you haven't even been to Burning Man.
And it's not to say that doesn't exist. You get some weird people that are just like the veterans that end up. They act like assholes, but
clean my camp, hazer, or what do they call the recruits in the Navy? I forgot.
I'm not sure.
I forgot.
You're thinking of hazing rituals.
Hazing,
like in college and shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket's all the fucking Kubrick's films are fucking crazy.
Full Metal Jacket was Kubrick?
Yeah.
What?
Wasn't it? Yeah, Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Full Metal Jacket.
No way.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Shining, no?
Shining. Yeah. What's the other one? The old school one with the
Didn't he die after Eyes Wide Shut? I heard some conspiracy recently about Eyes Wide Shut and how
Clockwork Orange.
Yes.
Oh, that was it. Yeah. That had a pretty profound effect on me when I was a kid.
We just rewatched that. Yeah. Like the only other time that I saw that movie was when I was like super young and ripped on acid and like didn't actually remember a lot of it. Probably for good reasons because you don't really want to watch that movie in a tender psychedelic state.
Yeah, no. Pretty well all the Kubrick shit is pretty epic though.
Yeah, I just threw on 2001: A Space Odyssey the other day when we were hanging out, just like without the volume because I
love the intro.
Yeah,
and the monkeys start fucking beating each other.
Well,
that's
a 2+ hour movie with like 25 minutes of dialogue. It's like an art piece. It's meant to be just super visual and like.
Well, and the first time that you showed it to me, like I remember first of all having my mind blown at the end with the whole like starseed child thing and. Yeah. That whole concept, and then like we sat on the internet for like a good couple hours just like looking up theories as to like what the hell that's supposed to represent.
That's one of the cool things about
maybe
that
it doesn't
film.
represent anything. Maybe it's just this crazy art piece that's meant to make you think.
Kubrick said that if it's not meant to have a meaning, He was like, I kind of envisioned that film being like the Mona Lisa, where like if the Mona Lisa had a description underneath it as what she was thinking while she was standing there, you know, like it would kind of ruin the allure of how the imagination.
I was just practice for the fake moon landing.
Yeah.
I just never understood why anybody questions what the Mona Lisa's thinking anyways. Why was that a thing? Maybe
I've
the
never
artist
actually stood in front of it and
she was probably like, these motherfuckers aren't paying me enough money. This is the worst fucking 3 hours of my life.
Hurry up already.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm fucking so hungry right now.
All right, let's finish off this list before I forget. So motion, where does Freezer Burn fit into that? Do you know?
Oh yeah, Freezer Burn's more at the beginning.
Yeah, it's
okay.
I think it's the weekend before Inshallah.
Yeah, so that's in between Tribe and Inshallah.
Okay.
They all usually tend to fall in the same line.
Yeah,
and it's only up in Pinoca, so it's only.
So it's like every weekend, boom, boom.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty intense.
I hear in Australia that the circuit is so like intense that you can actually circle the entire island all the way throughout the year.
Wow,
just go from a festival to festival.
Yeah, because they don't have to worry about this crazy winter that we have.
Yeah,
just stay out of the middle and stay out of the ocean.
Right.
Yeah, and then after Motion Ocean. We did Pirate Party after Motion Ocean, but that one's in Montana.
Well, that sounds fun. Do people dress up like pirates?
Absolutely.
There was a dog walking around with a parrot on its back,
We met a real life lemur.
Oh yeah, there was a lemur there.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest like spectrum of pet animals that everybody had there. It was awesome.
Yeah. And Pirate Party was strange because it rained literally the entire music festival, and we have videos of like walking up to certain tents that were like in the wrong part of like the flood lane where the river went into this little gully or whatever, and like it's literally filled halfway up to its tent sort of thing, and like cars that like their hoods were ditched into some pieces. It's like, I thought you guys were fucking pirates.
Sail the seas.
Wow.
Yeah, the river breached and it turned into
just
like
a little bit of water just wipes out the pirates.
Yep.
And then after that was Shambhala. We go out a week early and build.
Yeah, I recommend that to anybody. Shambhala is like, it's life changing. Even just being there for a couple days, you'd walk away just dumbfounded completely.
That's actually where we learned about the whole idea behind microdosing, like either acid or mushrooms, and that was a pretty mystical experience.
Just sitting through workshops, it's just so amazing.
Yeah, I have a hard time with psychedelics. They hit me pretty hard, and I get pretty uncomfortable. But
we can't put that on the air.
Yeah. Just like take a quarter hit, and it's perfect because it puts you into that state where like you're creative and you're motivated and you have the energy to do stuff and you're thinking about things in a different way.
He finds that state at the end of his acid trip.
Yeah.
The period of
productivity. And I said, that's just what it feels to be organized, Darren.
Yeah. See, I'm not an organized person anyway, so maybe that's why it helps.
Yeah.
You went too far to set that one up, I think.
Okay, after Shambhala.
Touche, though.
And then after Sham is Burning Man. Birmingham.
Real Burning Man or
Real Burning Man?
Burning Man, okay.
Real Burning Man.
Well, actually,
Freezer Burn was mini Burning Man.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. This year, actually, right after Shambhala is that Oregon Eclipse Festival. It's
which is
Yeah.
I don't know where I'll be. I might be in Oregon. But I might be in Kansas, but I'll probably be in Oregon.
Oregon's so beautiful.
I saw the map.
Oregon's awesome. That's where I'm going to. If I had enough money to get a little piece of land and fucking go, that's probably where I'd go at this point.
We got made fun of for calling it Oregon.
Oregoni?
No. We were calling it Oregon.
Oregon.
It's like when people say Calgary. You're from Calgary.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
Calgary,
So it's basically just goes Shambhala, Oregon Eclipse, Motion Ocean, and Burning Man all back to back this year.
Wait, Motion Ocean's after Shambhala this year?
Yeah, Motion Ocean had to move their dates too.
Oh wow!
Oh, we're not gonna catch Motion Ocean because we'll be leaving for Burning Man.
Yeah.
And then is Burning Man the wind up?
No, Fozzie Fest.
Yeah,
you
Fozzie
guys.
Fest.
Oh, I heard about that too.
Houseboats and
it's a festival
out in
Kukanoosa.
Yeah, it's on Lake Kukanoosa, and the festival grounds is the Big Springs campground. So one of the cool things is like one of the stages is actually on the beach. And during the day, they project the music out onto the water, so you can be on your houseboat sitting in your right on the hot tub and like in front of the stage. But then at night, they get shit from the neighbors, the landowners, for like putting too much sound out in the water. So
I heard the cops clamped down this year or something like that.
Yeah,
they did. Yeah.
It was the RCMP. They had an an issue with, like, they didn't think that the response time getting down to the location where they were hosting it was going to be quick enough. So they were like, we don't want to have too big of a party. So they denied them their special event license.
So they made it super small.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So, but I heard it's changing this year and it's going to be better or something.
This
like
year
that.
they're
working
good to
on
go.
it. We sunk our houseboat last year.
Oh yeah.
Jesus, really?
Yeah. Oh, we had like 50 people on it, and we decided to try.
It didn't like sink, but
we decided to try and go out onto the water. We had like some speakers on the top floor, and we had some, we were just going to do a Saturday party, and we couldn't get the houseboat off the shore. It was grounded because there was too many people on it. So
also the level of the lake was changing.
Yeah, but somebody was just like, well, everybody to the back of the boat, and we can get the boat off the water.
The engine is.
So everybody went to the back, and we get the boat off, and then all of a sudden we start going, but it just starts going underwater and starts. And
Over to the front of the boat.
People on the houseboat beside us were like, "You're going down."
Well, and it was funny.
Did everybody manage to go up to the front and then balance it out?
We had people jumping off.
No, what happened was like everybody's too afraid to jump off because it's like, oh my god, I'm wearing these special festival clothes. I don't want to get wet. It's like if you don't get off the fucking boat, you're gonna get wet either way.
Yeah.
There was one person when they first started freaking out, they ran over to one window and they're like, oh my god, we're taking on water. So everybody runs over to the exact same window to witness. Like, oh yeah, we definitely are.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
We flooded the motor, and then we couldn't drive back. Like once the back dipped under the water, it flooded the motor, so we couldn't then drive back. So we're just drifting. And luckily, we didn't go too far. We were able to throw the mooring ropes, back to the shore and have people pull us back.
And the last thing you want to do when the engine's flooded is like start turning the key because it fucks a bunch of stuff up. And I know this. Like I've been boating with my dad before. Like he used to have property out at like Lake McGregor, like down by Vulcan, and so I knew enough about boats, which is why I was the driver and like I was the captain of the thing. But like the 30 seconds that I walked away from the helm to go and try and find Tanner,
that's what happened.
Are you seeing what's going on? There's like drunk people all fucked up, like pushing buttons and turning the key, being like, "Oh no, I know how to fix this."
We didn't lose our damage deposit. That's the thing that counts.
Plumber was our captain.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
It was a gong show. Oh,
I know. I had a bit of a houseboat gong show when I was
came
young,
back with a bunch of fucking toilet paper, duct tape to the bottom of my foot. So I fell off the boat in the shallow part and cut my foot on a rock.
We threw all the chairs off the top for some reason. We lost all the chairs.
The neighbors gave me some mushrooms, and then it was just fucking super weird because there's just like fucking 1,000 people on the beach wandering around, and I'm just like, holy fuck.
I think the worst part about having a houseboat as a music festival is the fact that like they don't lock, like they're meant to be accessible for family vacations. So you go to a music festival where everybody's just drunk off their feet.
And you're responsible for it.
And you're responsible for it. You walk away. Like there was a couple times. There was one time. It was kind of early in the morning. I had come back and there was a bunch of people like sleeping on the pull-out couch and like in their respective beds and stuff. And this fucking guy comes in, super blonde hair, ultra naked, ultra can't talk, and just like finds his way onto our boat. Just be like, no, I know the owners. And I'm talking to him being like, pretty sure you're talking to me right now.
Yeah, it's kind of one thing that I took away from it was don't get a houseboat at a music festival, because when you rent a houseboat vacation, you want to enjoy the houseboat vacation, and when you're at a music festival, you want to enjoy the music festival. And if you get both at the same time, you only get half of each. So it wasn't really worth it.
Also, you want to sleep, and like when you want to sleep, there's no guarantee that anybody else, like the other 17 people that you're sharing space with, want to sleep.
Actually, there's a guarantee that they don't.
Exactly.
There's a guarantee that there's no good
There's
time
a hot
to sleep.
tub on the roof of it. People are stomping around, and
Never again. Never again.
We'll gladly get on somebody else's houseboat.
I found it hard to sleep when I was on my own at the festival. Oh my God.
Where did you camp at Astral?
Just south of, just past the main stage, kind of when you come into the parking lot. Pretty close to that area there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's some interesting stuff that goes on there too. Like this, one of my friends was friends with these people that were doing like there's their own little event. So there's not only like workshops from the festival, but then people that travel around. I'm sure you probably even know those people that go to all these festivals with a bus and they set up this big tent. They do this like joygasm thing where
we actually did a podcast. Yeah, one of the podcasts that we did at Inshallah was with the kids from Joygasm.
You're probably talking about that white bus?
Yeah.
That was Sky's bus.
Yeah.
That's Camp Hard On. That's kind of like, that's very...
Heart on.
That's very, very burner-esque, like people deciding to get together and do something that they can bring to the festival that they can contribute or like, offer to other people to experience. So those guys are awesome. I love them.
Well, I'll do one this year.
Yeah.
I'll do one.
Do
It
inshallah.
won't be Burning Man.
Do inshallah.
Well, you want to take your kids?
Possibly.
Yeah.
I'll run it by the wife and see, because she's into the music.
Careful,
so maybe.
the wife.
I better watch that.
girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
To be fair, I call him the man meat half the time.
We're not allowed to say that anymore. One of the British people wrote in and said it's derogatory.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Thanks, UK posse.
Thanks, UK posse.
Keeping Darren in check.
Actually, that podcast that we did with them at Inshallah was pretty hilarious because Tanner and I, we talk shit to each other.
We talk to each other.
We talk shit to each other all the time, and it's not meant to be derogatory. This is just how we relate to each other. And I can't remember what we were talking about.
Oh.
She complimented our dynamic or something like that, and I just looked over. I was like, he's a piece of shit. Don't listen to him or whatever. And she shoots me this look like, are you okay? Is there something that you guys want to talk about?
Just got really awkward all of a sudden.
So tell them a little bit about the Joygasm experience, because it's really interesting how, and it's hard because I don't know, I'm from the environment where you still have a hard time dancing without feeling all self-conscious, or you go in this group of people and it's basically you get everybody laughing so much that you have this ecstatic experience through laughter, right? I think
it's kind of it stems sort of from the tantric thing where you can bring yourself to some sort of energetic orgasm without the sense of touch and through other means. And the Joygasm, I've never actually done the workshop with them, but we talked about it, and it sounds just like it's built on just the infectious vibe of the hardest you ever laugh is when you're with a group of people that are all laughing, their sides are splitting, right? And it's that kind of experience. You just kind of exponentially build off. And, I mean, shit, if sneezing is likened to an orgasm, I'm sure that experience when you're laughing so hard that your sides are splitting and you can't hardly breathe, that's got to be somewhat.
You should start a Joygasm bus. Also, people be lining up.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
Graham goes to jail.
I think you should talk a little bit about sanctuary and harm reduction. And how important that is.
Yes, that's thank you.
Yeah. It's okay. I'll just do your job for you.
Sanctuary and harm reduction within the festival community. I'm a co-coordinator with Astro Harvest, and I coordinate the Fozzy Fest Sanctuary. And it's basically when you're out there, it's very easy to get just too loaded, or even sunstroke, or whether you're indulging in alcohol or substances. If you feel uncomfortable, there's a place that you can go and chill out. And it's just a nice, warm, welcome, inviting environment with people that are technically staffed to ground you out. Be there with you through the experience.
Talk you down.
Yeah, especially we've all had a friend that was took some mushrooms or something and tripped right out, right?
Or been that friend.
Yeah. But people that work sanctuary and harm reduction kind of thing, they're the type of people that their character is drawn to that. And I found out really early on that I was good at it, and I gave it a try, and it was an absolutely rewarding experience. Being there, it's kind of. One thing I like about podcasting is that you can take a total stranger and sit down, and after 2 hours, you feel like you really you got more conversation and more personal time than you really would over a year normally.
Yeah.
Take that and put it on steroids, sitting with somebody trying to get through a psychedelic distress situation, and you're there, and you're the voice of reason, and you actually help them kind of get through that and feel better and start to because if you have a good friend to help you through it, it changes everything.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting experience, and it ends up when I got into it, it was all I wanted to do. Even when I wasn't working or on shift, I'd be there, kind of just.
I'd have to give him shit and pull him away. It's you're not working right now. Come dance, come hang out.
But it showed me an entirely different side of the festival culture. Immediately, I was just so drawn to being able to contribute to the whole experience rather than just be a consumer of the experience.
Yeah.
And I felt that was kind of my trade. And you meet the most amazing people working that trade as well. You just find those people that are, I find that the type of person that can help somebody else through a trip, or even just somebody that's sunstroked or emotional or crying because their friend, got mad at them or something. Yeah. The type of people that can ground someone like that out are the choice kind of people you'll ever cross paths with. So meeting a bunch of people like that in one space, you make the most amazing friends. It's just it's such a family, such a tribe.
You probably know my friend Nicolka. Pestova, maybe. I think she was doing Shambhala's.
Shambhala there's
like a whole
75. Yeah, 75 people that work sanctuary there. Saturday night, there's 17 people on shift at a time, like during the power hour. So, like, I've worked Shambhala Sanctuary 3 years, and yeah, it's hard to meet everybody. Wow. It's tough.
Wow.
Yeah. What about talk a little bit about like the actual harm reduction project?
Yeah, harm reduction.
And Party Safe.
It's kind of a sensitive subject because one thing that Shambhala really pioneered the whole festival culture community with was drug testing. And like the cops hate it, the RCMP hate it, but like everybody knows that people go out there and they screw around with ecstasy or, you know, like even just whatever you find out there, which is almost too many different variations now.
Right.
It's like, just keep it simple, guys.
Yeah.
But Shambhala promotes, like, there's a group called Anchors, spelled with a K, and they offer completely judgment free. Like, if you want to walk in and just like throw your whatever you've got on the table, we'll put it through our reagent tests, through a mandolin or a marquee test.
They have a certain protocol, like you have to be able to put it down on the tray. Like, they can't touch it at all. Like, no tweezers.
They can't handle it because that would be trafficking.
Yeah.
But they can actually tell you right off the bat, it's like, this isn't what you think it is. Like, this is testing or showing up as
I see what you mean. So it's like pre-testing.
Yeah. So and then if it shows up as something harmful, you know, it's harm reduction. It's trying to like make sure to provide a resource for people that are going out to something like that. Yeah, test your drugs, and they actually support that. But the thing is, it's a really gray area with the RCMP right now because they don't like the fact that it seemed, you know, a lot of people think that it promotes being, you know, using drugs.
People are going to use drugs either way.
Medicines, right? Like,
plus, they should be legal to begin with. I mean, we should be able to do this. Yeah, we should have, you know, sovereignty over our consciousness.
Right.
Like, for sure.
I think not in our lifetime, bro.
Yeah, it's coming.
We won't get our consciousness
it's
back
coming.
fully in our lifetime.
It's coming.
Maybe my kid's lifetime.
No, it's coming. We're almost there.
Yeah.
Well, I've been waiting for cannabis to come for 15 years.
It's here. So.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's like, I just can't quite reach it yet.
Well, like, and I'm sure you guys have heard of, like in Alberta right now, the fentanyl crisis.
That shit's disgusting.
There's like 300 people in Alberta last year alone that were overdosed and died on fentanyl. So Anchors, actually, they're hosting a GoFundMe right now. They're trying to raise money to buy a mass spectrometer. And
nice.
So that they can actually have a laser, like a laser spectrometer and a mass spectrometer, so that they can point that laser at whatever you've got and the entire chemical breakdown of what's there.
Our friend Mark right now, like, we were working with him at Fozzie Fest, and he had it at Shambhala as well. He has just like the general spectrometer, so it will shoot into your substance and it will give you the top 2 ingredients that it has, but it doesn't tell you the entire breakdown, I think it was.
No, it's just the most dominant 2. But the thing is, like, as opposed to not having that at a festival or even a rock show, whatever, like, people do coke all over the place, like businessmen do.
Yeah.
It's really
No, I mean,
everywhere.
I had a problem with hard drugs and alcohol, right? So that's why I don't do it anymore, right? Yeah. So I know the feeling of shame when I didn't, like, that was part of my problem with being able to get better, is I wanted to fix it all myself, right? Because I was too shameful to tell anybody that it was getting bad for me, right? Because of the stigma and all that, like the coke, and I was like, holy fuck, I can't tell people how bad I am. I got to do it myself. But then the more you try and do it yourself, like, you need to be open, I think, in society, or at least to have. Sure. I'm not talking about people like me needing to be open, but it would be nice if we had a culture of openness and where you can talk about that stuff without feeling shameful. And
that's what harm reduction is trying to instill.
Yeah, so I totally get how that would
give
work.
us the link for that, and we'll put it in the show notes.
Anchors and Party Safe.
And for the GoFundMe.
Yeah, yeah. I think that mass spectrometer costs like $80,000, so they're trying to raise a substantial
super expensive.
amount of money. But
even the one that Mark has was like what?
Yeah, he bought that on a whim, just impulsively for his own collection. It was like $14,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what were you saying about like all the harder drugs too? Even because it's even in the it's
everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And the thing is, like, you go out to a festival, the thing that we try and communicate to the RCMP is the fact that, like, if it's not there, then everything that happens anyway. You're not going to stop, like, people messing around recreationally with substances.
Right.
But if there happens to be drug testing there, guaranteed 25% of the festival is going to walk up and test their drugs, and 50% of those people are going to toss the stuff that's harmful.
We've seen people toss them.
And as far as like a free marketplace goes, right? They're not going to go back to the people they bought it off of, right? Or there's going to be at least some repercussions from fucking dealing bad drugs as well.
There was one year, it was at Astral Harvest, like Working Sanctuary. We're really tight with EMS. We know them really well, and super amazing group of people that worked there. And there had been a number of cases of before fentanyl, it was PMMA. That was killing people just because they were taking too much, and
just fillers that people are putting in that are just like dangerous.
So they had 3 different instances of people being brought in on PMMA, and the security guard finally goes up to the last person being brought in, just being like, "Look, I'm not going to give you any trouble. I'm not going to give the person who sold it to you any trouble, but you're the 3rd case coming in a pretty crappy situation. I need a description of the person who sold this to you." And he told him it was this dude in whatever clothing, and he walks around
led to
and
us finding him.
Yeah, he ends up finding him, and he went up to this guy who's like, same thing, like, "Look, I don't want to give you any trouble. Give me everything you have right now, and I will let you stay the rest of the festival. There are 3 people that have ended up in EMS care because of the stuff that you're selling." And this guy had absolutely no idea.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He was so hurt,
exactly. Yeah,
so hurt that he brought this experience upon these other people.
Yeah. And so it eliminated that from the experience, and I was kind of
So how many people did you potentially
save lives?
Exactly.
As opposed to that kind of thing not being a part of the whole experience. So
not all security teams are like that at festivals, though. Like,
Well, that's great. Yeah, I could see you being good at that. I could see you like comforting me if I ate too many mushrooms.
Yeah, give me a call.
I'll give you a call. Yeah. I'll throw you on the
bat sign goes up and get to the Igloo.
Just like post a picture of like a stick figure with like really long dreadlocks. Like, that's it.
Can you help Darren when he's drank too much, though? I mean,
he can't even help me when I've drank too much.
No one can. When you drink too much, no one can help.
Yeah, it's a whole
difference.
It's a whole different level of stubborn.
Time. You need time.
Yeah, you need time. It's gonna slap it off.
Yep.
I don't have a problem. I'm fine.
So Shambhala, I just want to stick with this for a bit because it's really, really fascinating. I'm glad we brought it up. Shambhala started this trend a couple of years back, and then now other people are sort of starting to do it, or like, where do you see this going in the next couple of years?
I don't think Shambhala started. It's been a movement that's happened in a couple different areas, like even in the States.
Harm reduction?
Yeah.
No, yeah, and specifically the testing.
Yeah. Well, I would credit that to Anchors, and Shambhala works with Anchors, and I think
entirely in Canada, or like.
That's a good question. We'd have to look that up. Like, who was the first one to offer that kind of service?
Yeah.
But I believe, as far as I can tell, Anchors would be the first notable organization to start offering that
for Western Canada. Anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, like, my first Shambhala was 2011, so I haven't really been involved. Like, Shambhala's turning 20 this year, and I've only been to 5, 6.
25%. That's legit.
So, like, for example, if I had a pill of ecstasy or whatever, I could tell how much of it was MDMA, like straight MDMA.
No,
not how much. They can tell you.
Or, right. That I could at least see that was the main ingredient, and it wasn't
the
something
mass
else.
Spectrometer would tell you that if they could afford it.
Yeah.
And it would basically document everything that's going on here, and it would make it really hard for people to sell harmful substances.
Drugs,
and that's the point, is just like clean the place up.
Here's what happens when you go to get your drugs tested when you're not using the mass spectrometer. Your medicines. There are usually 2, sometimes 3 different reagents, and they ask you to, if it's like an ecstasy pill, you scrape off a little bit, just the littlest, tiniest bit, like not enough to make a difference to your actual state of being or whatever. Scrape them into 3 different things, and then they react and they turn a different color, and that color reacting with the different reagent represents a different chemical that's in it. However, when it comes to MDMA will always respond first, and it will turn straight black with 2 out of the 3 reagents, but they don't always have the 3. So when the reagent turns black, that is to say that we can confirm that there is MDMA in your substance, but because it reacts first, we're not able to guarantee that is the only thing in your substance.
Right,
so you take it with a grain of salt.
It's a start, right? And that's why they're trying to crowdfund for the ability to really dial in and make like a real difference out there.
Yeah.
And I feel like even just putting that thumb down on the festival culture around here is going to probably change the landscape of like harmful substances across the country.
It's so sad that we even have to do that. Can you imagine that we even have to do that? Like,
well, I really commend MAPS, what they're doing with the trials with MDMA and the fact that they're really like pushing for that, and they're working with psilocybin. I mean, if anybody's going to do it, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be them. So I don't think it's not going to be in our lifetime. I think MAPS will come through because they broke that barrier down with the FDA with MDMA. They're letting them work with it, and they know exactly why. They know their prerogative. They know that like you're trying to make a difference positively. So, but
there's also other things happening in the same time. Like in Mexico, the ibogaine movement for healing people with addiction is huge, and there's also like the toad, the Sonoran Desert toad, which is really popular now for healing people. And there's plus all the traditional shamanic ones like ayahuasca and everything. We just had Raz Rackham. Raz Rackham, and I don't know if you know who is. They're doing, and Niles Heckman was one of our recent ones, and they're doing a documentary on that. And it's fascinating. So I think it's happening at different levels, and because it's just sad that we have to even test for that. But if it was legal and at some level, I'm not saying like full. Yeah, I mean, at least there'd be some sort of
there'd be regulation and checks and balances.
At least you'd know that you're buying decent stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too bad because like a lot of stuff like MDMA, I mean, for the most part, socially, it's really demonized because a lot of people they die at raves on ecstasy, stuff like that. But
it's like the most open heart expanding substance you could ever do. Like, let's cuddle with fucking strangers.
But they're not dying. But they're not dying from the MDMA though, right? They're
not necessarily. No.
Problem is MDMA raises your body temperature, so that actually like you get the most harmful thing that happens is hyperthermia, like the opposite of hypothermia.
Yeah,
your blood or your body temperature raises to the point where you can actually like cook your brain cells.
Yeah.
That's how people like,
especially if you're not drinking enough water.
Yeah,
kids that are dying already. The problem is the kids that are dying on this kind of stuff are the kids that are going and they're just like, my friend gave me this and I'm going to take 10, you know?
Yeah.
Or the people like with what was happening with PMMA, it's the kids who are used to taking MDMA and think it's MDMA and then they take one or two and it takes a little bit longer for it to hit them and they're like, my drugs are shitty. I should take more because I already bought them. And then they take more and then it hits them and then they die.
See, and you can't even talk about this, like this is kids, right? You can't even talk about this with your families or with like parents can't talk to their kids about it. Like
Tanner and I we've talked about this before. Like I grew up in such an instance where my parents were like, they really tried to shelter me. Like they found out I was smoking weed. I'd be grounded for however amount of time. I'd sneak out and go off and do all these stupid drugs on my own and end up in really bad situations because of it. But Tanner,
my parents were the ones hiding their smoking weed from me.
Yeah. So we've always said that, especially coming from a harm reduction point of view, is that like, you know, when we do end up having kids, we're not going to be the ones to introduce it to them. But if they find it on their own, the least we can do is teach them how to do it properly.
And they should be feeling like open to talk to you about it.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So because both your situations were opposite, but they weren't both. They probably both weren't necessarily healthy, right? Yeah. I mean, or as healthy as they could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I think I could have approached my parents and talked about it, but I don't think I like.
That's the kind of parent I hope to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just see what happens when
well, and like
high school starts.
The more it's the same thing with talking about like, you know, harm reduction in general. Like the more that you try and pull a person or a child back from doing something, the more it makes them want to rebel. Like people are going to be finding these drugs anyway. The least you can do is provide this service for them to make healthy choices. Yeah. Your kids, if they find drugs, they're going to find them anyway. Yeah. The more you hold them back, they're going to be running away from home and doing them very, very irresponsibly.
Yeah. Yeah, and then so what's happening with the fentanyl thing lately? Like it seems like
there was just a huge bust recently. There was like a multi-million-dollar bust that just happened.
Unfortunately,
which is good.
It's basically just like prescription heroin or morphine, right? It's an opioid,
but like 100 times as strong.
People are getting it with their heroin and their oxys and their coke too. I hear cocaine. People think they have cocaine and it's in there.
Yeah.
What? They what?
Yeah.
Yeah, mix it in with blow. Because it's a cheap additive, I think, is what it is. Right? You can add it to shit and it fucks you up.
That's the biggest reason why like something like Anchors is valuable, because like drug dealers generally are just like, oh, I've got this random white powder over here and I need to make money. I'm just going to throw it in here and sell it as something else.
Yeah.
You know, you get like these really horrible people that are, and they don't even think about what they're doing. And then 26 people die the next week, right? It's a savage market. It's like it's not a safe
and no regulation. That's what prohibition.
And imagine, and this is all coming from prescription drugs as well, right?
Yeah.
Not all of it, but I mean,
fentanyl
that shows you how like oxy and fentanyl.
Actually, I did just read an article recently about like fentanyl, and one of the companies, I can't remember what the company was called, but now like 3 to 5 of like the main players in the company are now being they were recently arrested because they were purposefully over prescribing like the fentanyl that they were selling was like a sublingual spray, so you put it under your tongue after you spray it. It was intended for cancer patients, but they were twisting the prescription and telling doctors to overprescribe it for things as simple as back pain and neck pain and arthritis and stuff like that. And it was really fucking people up to, encourage their own profit.
Big pharma.
Yeah, holy.
It's the mindset of big pharma.
Biggest drug dealers in the world.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
But I have to relieve my babysitter.
Yeah.
We should,
Is that 2.5 hours we did?
No, that's an hour and a half.
Okay.
For some reason, it starts at an hour.
I saw it at like 1:17 when I felt like it was 15 minutes. I was like, well, cool.
Yeah. It's like, whoa, well, time does go by faster in the Igloo.
It does, for sure. We notice that.
So where can our listeners find your podcast?
GenesaProject.com.
Yeah, we have everything hosted on our website on GenesaProject.com, but you can search it on iTunes and Stitcher and all that. It's the Genesa ThoughtLab podcast.
Okay.
And
we'll link to that for sure.
Cool, thanks.
We usually the stuff that we cover is a lot of like festival-based music culture, but we've also had a couple of episodes sitting down with people who were very knowledgeable in Bitcoin, and we sat down with James Jesso the other day. That one probably won't be released for a while because we have such a backlog from festivals.
Yeah, I meant to ask you more about your podcast too, and then just the time slipped by. So do you guys you plan on doing it more festivals next year?
Yeah,
and
definitely. I'd like to get into a weekly swing like you guys do.
Yeah.
It's just we got to get our team.
We do a lot of other shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
Well, hopefully some of our listeners will go check you guys out.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Thank you guys so much for having us. This is awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll do it again. We'll do it on your show sometime.
Yeah, we'll have you guys over.
You guys are going away though, eh? So maybe in the new year?
He's going away. In the new year. He's going. It'd be February, I think. Mr. Busy's gone till February.
Yeah, and then but go to a festival this year or something, or we'll keep in touch anyways.
Whatever ones you guys want to go to, we'll probably already be there, so we can show you guys the ropes and shit.
Thanks for giving me your chair the whole time you've been standing.
No,
you've been standing?
Yeah.
He always stands.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why we have the high table.
Not always, but I try to. I sit all day at work, so.
So we might as well just do the spiel now. Check out Grimerica.ca/support, guys, for all the different ways you can keep us ad, sponsor, affiliate free, spam gram.
Yeah, send in your stories and synchronicities, trip reports, especially after this show.
Sign
your festival reports.
All of the trip reports.
Festival reports. And sign people up for the newsletter. And tell your friends about the show.
I'll go home and do 10 newsletter signups right now.
There you go, your whole Facebook lineup, yeah. All right, guys, thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.
if they make you cry, if they blow your mind, why not go online to Grimerica.ca/support?